I got a dryer running. I might stop that right now, real quick.
Okay, yeah, go for it. You good?
I gave you the link. No? I don't know why that link thing. Oh, I probably didn't even press it. Hold on 1 second. I didn't go through. Okay, it should be there now, baby. All right, I'm ready to go.
Ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, let's get it. Let me make yeah, everything's all good to go. Let me make sure real quick on here. You can still hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Alrighty. Let's get it. And then once we're done with the live, it automatically uploads to the YouTube, and then you're able to check it out afterwards. And then if people want to check it out, they're able to look at it. And
Okay.
then I'll post clips. So once this is done, I'll post clips on my TikTok and my Instagram and whatnot, and then people are able to check it out afterwards, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're about to get it rolling. I got the one and only Lamont on here, man. It's a blessing, to have you on here. Telling your life story, your experiences, your journey. I'm glad I actually came across you on that YouTube. You know what I mean? That that
I was
YouTube and
just thinking.
that lady didn't shout you out or anything, man. And
I was just thinking the same thing. Like if it hadn't been for that day, yeah.
right, and every like I said, everything happens for a reason. Strong believer. Glad we
Indeed.
got in contact, and about to get this in. I noticed that after transition into society for you, after watching the video, trying to find them jobs, in the phone book, calling companies after company after company after company, and
Yeah.
and it's funny because I didn't look at how long ago that was, and it was 9 years ago. And just from the phone book and the flip phone, yeah, this was a minute.
Well,
uh,
actually, let me correct you. Actually, it was a Boost Mobile, and it was the incognito phone. So it had the little the little touch the keypad on it.
right.
It's one of those, yeah,
That upgraded, huh? Upgraded.
upgraded one, yeah.
Yeah,
But
man.
that was a situation as far as taking it back to the ads and everything. Um, we put a little extras on there, but nonetheless, I was looking in print ads and Craigslist and just different places for employment.
Right, right. Was it kind of difficult for you to land that job? Because I know you got your degree in prison, right? Or the
Um, Actually, I had quit school, the dental lab school. I quit that school 30 days before graduation.
right,
You know, um, I joined the class from going to we had a parole meeting one day, and they had different people coming to the parole meeting. They were speaking on the different avenues that the guys could take. They had someone there for tattoo removal. They had someone there for Alcoholics Anonymous. Just different degrees of whatever type of rut you were in. They were helping you out. So I sat through this program, and there was nothing there for me. I never had a problem with drugs. Never had a problem with alcohol. I didn't need tattoo removal. I just needed a job. So the last guy that came up, he was speaking on dental lab technology. How in the dental field they don't care if you're a murderer, um, we've sold drugs before. They just need to know if you can work with teeth. So I said, I have to take this right here. And then they kind of buttered you up because they did say that you make up to $25 an hour.
Mm.
So I jumped on that, and it was definitely a good experience. I spent 8 months in that school, so I would have rather spent 8 months in that school learning a trade as opposed to just running around doing nothing for 8 months.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I did quit. I had to quit 8 months before graduation, which sounds crazy to most people because it's like, why would you go to school? And the school was of $14,000. You know, it was $14,000. I didn't have to pay. I was able to go through a grant because I don't know about other states, but I know California prison at that time you were allowed to get $5,550 for a Pell Grant.
Mm.
So I signed up for a Pell Grant, and the school they write grants on your behalf. So it was a scam in the end. In the end, it was a scam because the deal was they get the grants in your name. You never see the paperwork. They could apply for a grant that says $50,000. You would never know because you never see the paperwork. You're just knowing that the school costs 14. So there's no doubt in my mind they receive more than just that on each of us. Remember, there's a lot of guys going through it. They were preying on prisoners. They were preying on the prisoners because they get that 5,500 up front with no questions asked. So they signed me up, and then at towards the first day of school, they tell me that we were only able to get about maybe $11,000 in grants. So the rest would be on you, but don't worry, we're gonna help you get a job. You can pay it back then. So it sounded good at the time, but towards the end, I had to jump ship because I had been interning at a real dental lab. One of my homeboys, he checked into the school, and luckily for us, he had been doing that type of work in Folsom State Prison. He had learned that trade in Folsom. Folsom had a regular class up in there, a lightweight class on dental lab technology, and he had completed that class in prison. So when he went to the school, he already knew. He was like, "No, I'm not paying you guys for this. You can get this for free." So he told me about it, and we went and we volunteered at this lab, and he got the job. And then the supervisor told me to sit next to him, and if you can learn what he's learned, I'll pay you for this job. So I got a situation where I'm about to graduate in 30 days, or I can just take this job offer right now and start my life. So I went with it starting right now. I don't want to wait till school, get a certificate and then wait to get a job and all of that. I want to start my life immediately.
Right. Absolutely. Get that paper.
Get the paper.
Get the paper.
Get the paper.
But the I remember we were talking earlier, $9 an hour, right?
I made nine. It's crazy, man, because I made $9 an hour. They told me $25 an hour. I figured I wouldn't start at 25, but I figured at least more than 15, $17. But yeah, I made in 2010, 2011. I made $9 an hour, and the craziest part about it is that there was another guy that had graduated from the school. He graduated with a extra degree and some type of honor, and he was making less than me at the same job. I got him a job there.
Wow.
So the job game is it's something else, man. You can be under the delusion that get a job, get a job, get a job. But sometimes a job is just that, a job. Somebody's giving you a job, giving you a paycheck, and you're set. It's on you to take it above that and say, well, let me find out the intricacies of this job, or let me find out another job that pays more, or if you even need a degree. Like I said, to be a dental lab tech, you don't need any certificate. You can go down there and try it out. For a female that knows how to paint nails, she has a steady hand and can paint fingernails, she can do the job that I was doing.
Wow. Now, did you ever feel like, there was some type of discrimination, you know what I mean? Because you're very intelligent, and a smart man, and just having conversations with you, it's, you can obviously, tell the your presence, and watching that interview, or the documentary on that YouTube, you sat down with the dental lab tech or whatever. Yeah, right. Dental lab tech, dude.
Right.
And he was like, great job, like excellent. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you probably can do better than him. You know what I mean? And he's probably making who knows how much money,
Oh,
and you were
yeah.
only making 9 at the time. Did
Yeah.
you feel like you were kind of getting discriminated just because maybe by the color of your skin and just getting out of prison?
Um, I'm kind of big on not instantaneously jumping on the victimization bandwagon, but going to that school, I did sense how I was being played, and my situation had nothing to do with being black. I mean, to a degree, it did, but I know what that degree was. I was the only brother at that time going there.
Mm,
Before the other guy checked in, I was the only guy going there, and I was a little bit older than the guys that was there too. At that time, I was 30, I was 37.
mm,
But where the racial thing comes in is that um, normally they would look at a guy at my age of 37, which you can be a dental lab tech at any age because the guy in the film, he was that guy, he can make $35, $40 an hour because he's really good at that craft. But I was the oldest guy there, and where the race thing came in is that I know on paperwork they would look at a younger guy my age. They would probably say, "No, he did 18 years. No, we probably don't want to deal with him." But they had other convicts there, but for some reason none of them were black. But what made me appealing to them was that I came with the whole thing of this guy is first of all, he seems civilized. He's done 18 years and he's black. So for me to graduate, that's a high mark for them. They can advertise me, like no other person on there. Here's a black guy. He did 18 years in prison. We made him a dental lab tech. He's making good money. They would have shot a commercial off me, and that's the only reason why they accepted me in there. So they were kind of salty when I checked out 30 days before graduation.
right, exactly. And Lamont, I feel like people that have been in the system, that have been to prison, once they get out, they're going to be your best employees, no matter what job it is, because they're going to give it 100%. You know what I mean? And they cherish. I feel like you cherish life more than your average person. You know what I mean? Just because that freedom was taken away from you at such a young age and doing 18 years, it's of course you're gonna cherish life a little bit more, and especially with your job, you're gonna do it 100%. So I feel like they're very lucky to have you. So yeah, man, shoot. Uh,
I was just telling someone about that, my philosophy on that, because we had a debate going on whether if like who's more apt to get a job, who's more acceptable to be around, the person who's been using the prison as a revolving door in and out, or the person who stayed a long time. And I would think that most people would understand the differences, and because to me, one of them is the clear cut choice. But I wasn't aware that this would be a debate. And some people feel that someone who goes in and out of prison for, a year here, a month there, 2 years here, they feel like that person there hasn't been damaged by, I guess, prison as opposed to someone who's been there 18 years. And my type of thinking, someone who's been there 18 years, that's enough time.
right.
That's enough time to know who you are, what goes on, and where you don't want to return. Somebody who's in and out, that shows that they pretty much vacation. They vacation here and there. I vacationed one time and I haven't been back. You know what I mean? So yeah, the school it was good to get me down there. I was a good sponsor for them, a mascot. They tried to use me as a mascot, and but I was able to get some get back because they didn't get that extra $1,000. That the money that I owed them. They never got that back. I had enough sense. Yeah, I was that. That's when I had to put out the inmate card on them on that. I had to go back to the prison council because it's like, I'm not paying you the money. And I actually wrote a letter to the LA Unified School District because I found out a lot of things about that program, and even now talking about it, it makes me mad because they'll tell society that to look out for prisoners, they're opportunists. You got to watch them, watch your purse around them. They was in there and they get out, they don't want to work, and that school actually preyed upon prisoners because we came with that Pell Grant. We come with a Pell Grant, and certain jobs will prey on prisoners because we also came with that with a tax refund. Certain jobs, if you hire a convict at that time, I don't think they have the program anymore, but But at that time, if I was getting hired at certain jobs, they get a tax break, and I also came with insurance. I don't know how much it was, but if anything happened on a job where it was me, they would be insured, and that wasn't even enough for a regular job to take me. They're like, "Oh, you got a record? You've been in there for 18 years? No, we don't want to hire you." You know what I mean? So that school was desperate to get those funds. But if you add it up per inmate, that's a lot of money.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
so there's kind of a mix. There's kind of a in-depth thing about that. Once you get out, kind of, I feel like it's just jumping through hoops. You know what I mean? And I feel like the system kind of makes it difficult, you know, for those. But anyways, my brother Lamont, I want to talk about this banner right down here that we were talking about earlier. May 1st, Florence and Normandy, 12:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. The Truce of Nine Deuce.
Yeah, for anybody who was, I guess, a teenager in 1992, I was 19 in 1992, and that was April 29th, 1992, at around like 5 in the afternoon, I think. That's when the riot kicked off. They had came out with the Rodney King verdict, and the riots erupted on the streets. I was out there at that time. I went to prison shortly after that, the next year. What we're going to be doing next Saturday is revisiting that right there, the 1992 riots. Not so much as focusing on the riot part, we're focusing on the aftermath of the riots. And that was the gang truce of 92. That's why it's called the gang truce of Nine Deuce. And that's when certain Bloods and Crips came together. Not all the hoods came together, but certain neighborhoods, especially in the projects, they came together, and they were seeking peace. And it lasted for a good minute. You know, they were able to get some. They were able to make some strides in having peace and having talks with each other and slow down everything. I don't know what happened to end it, because you know, eventually it fizzed out, but we're trying to revive that and bring it back up. And you know, there's a lot of things going on over in that area right now that the men need to step up and address the issue, and that issue can cause a lot of calm across the nation, because you know, all these other states, it's like everybody's a blood in the crib in all these other states, you know. Right. So that's going to be a good event down there, 12:30 to 4:30. We actually got in contact with the brother who was one of the members who started the first one in '92. He's still around. He's still calling for peace. I seen a video of him today. He's still calling for peace, man. And it's a good thing, but it's also sad to think that when I was 19, this man was calling for peace, and now at 48, he's still calling for peace. You know, so that should tell anybody that's weird. The gang culture in Los Angeles, it ain't no joke, man. It ain't no fly-by-night thing. This thing ain't no joke. You know what I mean?
Right. Do you think like the gang culture and all that's kind of changing in a way as society changes?
Yeah, it's more acceptable now. You know, I can think back to when I first moved. I'm not originally from California. I moved to California in 1987. And I remember it's always been real. I can say this, it's not an accolade to California, but California gangbang has never been like on a goofy level. It's never been goofy level. It was always cut and dry. You're blood or crip, and you either with the business or you're not. Now that I've emerged out of prison, and I remember the first time I went on YouTube and I was seeing different things, I'm like, they glorifying this shit right here, man. And I always noticed it was always someone out of state glorifying it, and then you get the ignorant people in California. They were giving them the fuel to do it. You know what I mean? I'm talking on every level, from videos of people. What's seen as simple now, it still has me baffled. Like Crip walking videos, to me, that's I remember that as something that only Crips did, and it was something you do at a party, and if you wasn't that, you know, you get your head knocked off. Now you can turn on there and see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid on there laughing and giggling, Crip walking. You know what I mean? And it's promoted heavily. You know, the music, you know, just banging on a whole level now. It's like it's a fad. It's a major fad.
Right. Hey, Lamont. Sorry. Go for it. You're good. My bad.
No, I was saying, and it's deep. It's real deep. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And I feel like, you know, being in the '90s, you know, and you know, being a Crip involved in the gang life, and now seeing that and how society's changing and to thinking that's kind of funny, you know, like for an example, doing the Crip walk or whatever. From your perspective, I feel like that's kind of a I mean, I feel like it's just disrespectful, you know what I mean, to those that actually live that lifestyle, that real hardcore lifestyle, you know what I mean?
Right.
And to see that, you know, to see that on social media, I feel like it's just disrespectful, you know what I mean?
It is, and I want to clarify something on here because I know YouTube is big. Social media is big on gang affiliation association. I don't want anybody to get anything misconstrued on there. I'm originally from Plainfield, New Jersey, and I moved to California in 1987. I never officially been put on. I don't have. I'm 48. I have no tattoo. I got all 32 teeth still. You know what I mean? I can go. I can go to any prison right now. If unfortunately I was to be sent back, I wouldn't have to run from anything that I've done because I left there with an honorable discharge. You know, and I'm proud of that because not many dudes can say that they left prison with an honorable discharge. That's where they can go back. There's no smut on their name. But at the same time, I don't want anybody to think that I'm running the mill Crip or blood that caught up. It's like none of that. Proud to be from the East Coast, proud to be from Plainfield, New Jersey. And I moved to California on my own, you know, with my parents. No grooming, no nothing. So I got thrown into a cold position, you know what I mean? Being from way on the East Coast and get thrown up in the prison at 20 years old and you ain't officially from nowhere. That could be a deal breaker for a lot of men. You know what I mean? For a lot of men. But like I say, to this day, you know, no tattoos and all 32 teeth. I ran with Crips. I know a lot of Crips. I functioned with the gangster car when I was in there and everything. But I don't like promoting the gang thing because people got a habit of putting that before themselves as a man. And I went to prison as a man first. I didn't go there as like a gangbanger or homies to back me up. I went there as Lamont, Macon, 20 years old, and only been in California like five years at that time. You know what I mean? So I don't like to have any gang thing, any type of gang associated ahead of me. It's me first as a man, Lamont, and then I'll tell you about who I hung with, you know, in back of me. That's like after me.
Right. And just from like speaking to you on the phone, you know, the other day or, you know, week, I wouldn't even have thought you went to prison, man, at all. And then looking at you now, like,
Right.
nah, I wouldn't think, you know what I mean? And like I said, how intelligent you are as a person,
I take it as
how
a
you carry
compliment.
yourself.
I take it
Oh,
as a compliment. I had a female tell me one time, I can't imagine you robbing anybody, and I took it as a compliment because it's like I need that right there. I don't need to be walking around looking menacing, and you know what I mean. I don't need all that. You know what I mean. I've been somewhere where I seen big old tough dudes cry, and I've been places where I seen like the toughest dude get slapped by a homosexual and not do nothing. So you know, I've seen a whole lot.
wow. Um, yeah, but I want to get into your Lamont. I want to get into your, you know, your upbringing, you know, and your relationship with your family and stuff, and
Right,
you know, not we kind of touched on the gang life already, but
right.
whatever, you know, led up to prison, whatever it may have been.
Yeah.
Not the, you know, your case. I'm not. If you want to mention that. If you don't want to, it's fine. You know, I'm not. But
What's good? I was gonna say what's good about me is that you can ask me pretty much any question. You know, I don't shy away from any questions. If I don't know, I don't know. But it's nothing barring me from speaking what happened. I mean, I've done my time. I'm not held to anything that has a statute of limitations on it. So I can speak. I can speak on my crime, what I did, and then yeah, I went to prison for 18 years. I went in at 1992, and I left out of there at 2010. Um, my mother moved to California in 87. I was 14 and a half. She knew where she was moving, but she knew where she was moving to. You know what I mean? Um, the crack had took hold of where I lived at in Jersey. I guess my mother had foreseen that it was going to get bad over there. So she packed up and she moved to California. You know, I had some family members out there. So, you know, we went out there and I didn't get caught up with the wrong people. I refused to let the story go as to where if I stayed in Jersey, you know, I would have been. No, I moved out there, met my first homeboy, and we just clicked. You know what I mean? And then you know, I got to learn the terrain and the lingo and what to wear, you know what I mean, and turned in my Levi's for some khakis, you know what I mean, my Adidas for some Chucks. You know, I did the whole switch over, but nothing by force, nothing by force. I say I was never forced to do nothing. I just gravitated towards that, and then started doing. I did earlier crimes, burglaries. You know, I stayed in the San Fernando Valley. You know what I mean, so I ran with the gangsters that's out there, and the Valley life is a lot different from Los Angeles life, um, and other in other areas. A lot of other areas outside of the Valley, from my experience, a lot of the brothers, they they kind of like emphasize on, you know, the killing and the, you know, and doing all that, but it was always towards another black. By me coming from Jersey, I didn't grow up in a culture of a lot of black on black. It's violence everywhere, but it wasn't emphasized where I was from. I didn't grow up where people proud to be busting another nigga's head. You know, all that was new to me coming to California.
Right.
So, you know, I'm running with my people, and then doing small time crimes, and then elevated to doing some robberies. And then I did that one robbery where, you know, you get sent in there. You know, and I didn't realize I was going to be sent in there for that long. But yeah, I was sentenced to 24 years and 4 months. This was in 92, 93. So you get halftime back then. So I actually could have did 12 and got out. But as anybody who's done time before, um, just because you have a release date on a piece of paper, that don't mean you're gonna get out then. Because I ended up getting 4 more years in there behind an incident I got into at Lancaster State Prison. You know what I mean? So went in there at 19, came out at age 37. You know, back to the same area, same neighborhood, and everything's been it's been pretty good since then. You know, you got any like points you want to ask in between in any of that?
Yeah, real quick. Now spending that long, you know, since '92 and getting out at 2010. I
Yeah.
mean, that's where you like. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say scared. I'm gonna say not ready, nervous, kind of to get out into society, just because you have to adapt into something whole different. You know, than you were in 1992. It was totally different. 2010. You know, well, how was
Yeah.
that for you?
Um, being in there, and then that time finally coming around while I'm going home, you're always, you know, you're excited. I didn't have any of the dilemmas of, have you ever heard stories of some guys saying they didn't want to go home?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I wasn't one of those. I wanted to go home. You know, I wanted to go home, but you can be kind of disillusioned because um, I did the 18 straight, and then when it came time to go home, I started thinking a little bit like, you know, 18 is a long time, and I've never thought like that prior to getting out. It's always, you know, I can't wait for my day, can't wait for my day. But as those weeks was approaching, I started thinking like, you know, damn, you know, a lot of time has passed. And once I got out, yeah, I kind of like I was always upbeat, and I was happy with all the knowledge that I left with. I left with a whole lot of knowledge. But when I got out, yeah, it was a whole different get down, man. I'm talking about from everything, because, you know, although I was 19 when I went in, but I wasn't the lowest of the low and the dumbest of the dumb when I went in. You know what I mean? So I still had a level of morals and standards. You know what I mean? And getting out to see how the dudes from my era and the young era, they didn't have that. You know what I mean? They didn't have that. I remember. I think the first incident that put me as to where I got back into a prison mode was at the DMV. Well, it was two incidents. One of the main ones was at the DMV. I was going there to get my ID and license and everything. And you know, the DMV is super packed,
Right.
and I mean like super packed. And I'm in there, and people are crowded, and there's no sitting room, and you have to look at this monitor to see when they're gonna call your number. And this guy, I think it was like an Armenian dude. He placed himself in front of me to look at the screen. Once he looked at the screen, he didn't move. and he's damn near like right in front of me, like damn near his butt is like right in front of me. You know what I mean? And we standing up, and I got offended because in prison you don't bump into people, you don't stand close to another man, none of that. So I tried to give him some time, and the more he stood there, I just started getting angry. So I poked in his back, and he turned around. I was like, man, get the fuck from in front of me. And then he moved and everything, and it just hold on, let me kill this call. And that was my niece calling.
You're good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. So he moved and everything, and then I went into the straight, balled up fist mode and the frown and everything, because it's like I had to muster that up because I wasn't with the program out here like that. That's what let me know about the accepted disrespect out here. Bumping into somebody, standing too close, all that stuff bothers a prisoner because in there you can't do that. I've never done that for 18 years. Bumped into a dude and didn't say excuse me or anything like that, So it becomes an issue where you fighting that battle between, are you being too hardcore, or are these people just goofy? And then you quickly realize, like, it ain't me being too hardcore. These people are goofy out here because you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be that close to a dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you kind of fight with that back and forth, but that also transitions into daily life where you're going to leave with some bad habits. Another bad habit that I catch myself. I was at the dental lab job one day,
right,
and this sister who worked there, she seen me early in the morning. I get to work early in the morning, and I'm hanging out in front of the dental lab, and someone calls my name, which is weird because you don't go by your government name, in prison. Nobody says, "Hey, Lamont,"
right.
Yeah, no one does that. No one, "Hey, Lamont," and you turn around, you answer. If somebody does know you, when we do it in there, it's the laughing deal because you find out like some dude named Killer. And his name will be Jarvis, or some regular name. We all laugh about it. But if you ever hear your first name, you just keep on walking. And she said, "Hey, Lamont," and I turned around and I looked at her and I did like that, and I caught myself like, "Man, this is a woman. You supposed to like wave, hey, how you doing, whatever." I'm throwing my head back like she's a nigga, and I was like, this ain't good right here, man.
Right. Now, Lamont, now in that situations like in the DMV and with the incident with the the lady that said what's up to you. Now, like, how long did it take for you to realize, like, hey, like, these people aren't a threat. They're just, that's just how the world is now, and people don't respect, one another, and like inside prison, like I feel like it's very militant and structured, and
Right.
people are very polite,
Right.
no matter what the person is, like I believe we had that phone call when like if someone would bump into you or whatever it may have been, it's a, hey, sorry, I apologize, I won't do it again, stuff like that, you know what I mean? But when like for the DMV incident, I guarantee that dude didn't say excuse me, whatever.
Nah.
Can I look at, you know what I mean? I'm gonna check this out real quick. Can you excuse me, whatever? So how
Yeah.
did you how long did it take for you to kind of like realize like, hey, like I'm in a different situation now, I have to kind of adapt?
A few more instances of I remember going to this job interview, and I was getting off the metro, the Orange Line, and common sense is when a bus, train, or anything pulls up, the people that's waiting to get on, you can't get on until the people on it get off it. And everybody's in the hustle and bustle out here, so when the bus would pull up and you try to get off, you have to like almost sidestep people. And I was doing that for a minute, but after a couple of weeks, I'm doing a Humphrey Bogart. I'm bumping shoulders and turning around and looking like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you try to balance it out. You develop in your mind thinking that, well, I'm gonna check these motherfuckers out here and they're gonna learn this shit. But it's like you're gonna be bumping shoulders all day with everybody.
Right.
I'm talking about I ain't scared to admit I was doing older women and everything like that. I was. Yeah. It's like I seen it out here. It's no respect. It's no respect at all. From men, it was no respect. Common sense. If I'm getting off the bus, I got a backpack on and I'm getting off. If you stepping on, we're gonna bump, and you're supposed to wait for me. You step to the side, I can get off. I started just getting off and just, swinging them elbows and everything, turn around, look and see if they had a problem with it. And then, but after a while, you kind of like, you don't really give up on that. You start to strategically place yourself, and you kind of think before you move, because you already know these people out here just blindly walking. They don't know no better. So you just try to avoid it a little bit better, and you don't go places where you know that's going to happen, and you try to see it before it happens.
Right. And it was kind of like it's kind of fast paced. Everything's fast paced, big crowds and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, the
So it's kind
crowds,
of hard to like.
yeah,
It's just kind of too much.
the crowds can definitely get to you because in there's a crowd, but it's a controlled crowd, and anything that's out of place, you immediately notice up in there because of the racial segregation. And that has its benefits in there, but it has its cons when you get out, because no way I could be at a job and a white boy walking back at me, what I mean, without me having to look. I had experienced that in so long, as we're not comfortable with certain races walking in back of me without alerting me that you're going to be in back of me. You can't do that at a job. You can't tell the other race, hey, you walking back of me, let me know. You can't. You can't do
Yeah, right.
that.
Man, Lamont, that's crazy how like prison can actually do that. You know what I mean? The prison politics
Right.
of a different race, but it's like I've always, questioned. It's like, well, will the prison politics kind of die down? Will everyone kind of unite as one? Because I feel like if everyone unites as one, and betters themselves for the better for themselves and their family, there's going to be no such thing as prison. You know what I mean? And I feel like the system has kind of made that and created that kind of situations throughout other races or whatever it may be. And it's very unfortunate, but I hope it gets better sometime soon with the prison politics. And
Actually, the only thing, and this is coming from perspective of someone who was in there for 18 years. So I got a good understanding of it. I was never at a level 3 or like a lower level yard. Not to say that anyone who's done time wasn't at a place that was going on. There's some level 3s that's rocking. You could be anywhere with somebody crazy, but for the record, I was at level 4s, and I was at level 4 180s in the high desert. And I actually did 11 years at a 180 prison, high desert state prison. So coming from perspective up in there, the segregation up in there is actually, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. What it does is that it allows you to by force, not by choice, by force, to be around your own people. And then when you're around your own people, you guys have a chance to group up, and you have a chance to see all the ills that happen within your race. If you're in a place where you're doing the melting pot, you never get a chance to face the realities of the pros and cons that go on within the culture of your race.
right,
You know what I mean? If everybody goes in the day room and we all get along, gang, I'm not going to see the pros and the cons that my people do, and I can just gravitate towards another race out of curiosity. And I don't believe in that. I'm 100% against that. I'm for racial segregation because it forces us to face the realities of stuff we need to clean up.
right,
And then when you're in prison, you go where your race is. At least in California prison, you go where your race is. You don't go in a room and you see, people over here. Let's say if you're the type as a weird, you work on a job. Let's say you're a brother out here and you work on a job, and construction job. Usually it's a lot of people from different races that have construction jobs, and y'all all get along and everything. So you would think, okay, going to prison, you may see some brothers over here on some ignorant nigga shit. So naturally, you don't want to go over there. That's some ignorant nigga shit. Who wants to go around some ignorant nigga shit? So you might see some Asians, some white boys over here talking about a topic you cool with. So you would naturally go over there. But in prison, you can't do that. You can't do that. You by force, you go over there with your people. So although I may be interested in what these guys over here that's non-black talking about, I have to go over here with the ignorant nigga shit.
right,
But the best part about it is that you got to face it. Face it. You know what I mean? Call them out on it, or join in on it, or try to change it. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, you get black people that'll deviate from dealing with the ills within our own culture and heritage and always going somewhere else. So by being in there and being forced to deal with your own people, you get to weed out who the ignorant niggas is, who the intelligent ones is, and you know how to how to deal with everybody up in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the camaraderie. And the camaraderie, because it's a shame. This is like indirect to the gang situation. It's a shame how a lot of the brothers they're on go on the streets on a certain enemy, but in there that same dude may have to help you out if it's a race ride and you're getting jumped. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
it shows you as to where a lot of the gang, the violence, they don't really need to have it, because you can be in a place as a weird prison and you guys are going to join up. But out here in the streets, you know, you're gunning each other down. You know, and it's always a story in between, but you get a chance to see why you need to be segregated. You know what I mean? And then once you master that, then it's okay to go ahead and venture out and learn about a different culture and see different things. You know, but not
Right.
before.
Absolutely, Lamont. Absolutely, man. I'm glad you mentioned that too, because that's very important. You know, finding our people's inner the struggles and what we go through and stuff like that to
Right.
fix our problems. To make them better and improve. Um, and how was it like on that level 4? Being like 1920. That's like during times where it's like you know the race
Yeah.
wars and all that was hot.
Um, you gotta remember it's LA County. You know, I'm from LA County, so it's like you go to the county jail, the county is cracking. The county jail is LA County jail is always cracking. LA County jail is like a different kind of prison. You know what I mean? And at some points you be ready to go to prison. You actually be up in there like, man, send me to prison, because the county can be real active. And the county jail at that time, 92, it was active. It was a lot of things going on. It was right after the LA riots. I went in right after the LA riots. So it was a lot of things going on. But once you get to prison, and at least for myself, I had never been there before, and I wasn't a YA baby. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was one of the unfortunate ones who came to California, you know what I mean, at 14 and then get locked up at 19.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like I didn't spend a lot of time on the streets, you know what I mean? And my knowledge of a lot of things, it was in place, but if I had stayed out a little bit longer, I would known a lot more. So I get up in there, and I was amazed by a lot of the things I've seen up in there. You know, you go through reception, that long bus ride, and you finally get to that first prison, and you see them fences, and you see the barbed wire around the top and everything, and all the stern faces, and it could be some. I can honestly say I wasn't scared.
Was it kind of intimidating a little bit?
Yeah, the only time I felt intimidated was getting to I think it was Calipatria, because I went through reception at Tehachapi. And Tehachapi, it was cool. You know, you see the racism with the guards up in there. But at that time, a small group of us came through. We had yard, I think, a couple of times, so it wasn't really too active out there. You know, you get a taste of what goes on, but not really there. But once I got to Calipatria and I hit that yard, and they line you up, and all the new guys come on the yard, it can be something if you're like a weak dude or a buster. It is something to be at that fence and seeing other grown men like look over at the fence, like just looking, like you know what I mean, just looking at you. And in their eyes, they looking to see if they recognize somebody. And with me, I'm not looking at that way. I'm looking at like, damn, why are they looking to go over here like that? But yeah, you get up on there and then you migrate towards your people and find out who you're supposed to know and who you're supposed to stay away from and everything like that. I think a lot of times also your upbringing determines how you do your time and how you view certain things. Um, the first guy that came up to me when I was in there, the first contact I had, I don't count the contact in the county jail reception center. I count the first contact when this is where you're officially doing your time. Reception center is cool. That's where you can get sent to and you have the orientation and everything. But once you get to that prison where you're gonna be doing your time, that's when everything starts right there.
Mm.
And the very first person that came up to me in the day room at Calipatria, It was a brother named Eldorado Red from PDL. He was from Pasadena, Devilane. And he was a YA baby. He was one of them brothers, had the Jerry curl. He had curls still back then, tank top on. He was on swole, walk forward, fists always balled up, and I remember he asked me, where was I from? He pointed to my area, told me where one of my homies was in that cell. He said, your homie stuff is in that cell right there. I had a homie on the yard that had been down for 27 years when I got there. You know what I mean? And he was on the yard. And he was like, need something? And I was like, yeah, give me a fuck book. I want to see a naked magazine. You've been in the county jail a year. I don't want to read no book. I want to see some naked bitches and shit. So he was like, all right. And he went back to his cell. And I was hanging out in the day room. And he came back up to me and he had a book, but it wasn't a fuck book. He gave me a book. I'm looking at it and I'm like, I ain't said nothing. He was like, yeah. He was like, read that book right there. And when I get it back from you, I'm gonna ask you some questions. And he kind of gave me this look like, one of them. And then I'm thinking yeah, that's like a threat right there. Like, if I don't read this book and I don't answer the question right, I got something coming. I wasn't scared nothing like that. I see, that's why I say it depends on how you grew up as a man. By me having a man in the home before then, I'm more susceptible to take orders from a man. Right. These younger dudes now who grew up with just a mama in the house, a mama hooting and hollering all the time, and no man seeing no man structure, they may feel intimidated and scared, or or feel like he's trying to punk them. I didn't feel like he's trying to punk me. I know this is a moment where a nigga trying to teach you something. Right. And the teaching lesson is that where when I give this book, I'm gonna ask you some questions when you give it back. That's common sense right there. If I don't know the answers, something's gonna happen. Right. So the book he gave me was a George Jackson book, Blood in My Eye. Book changed my life. Changed my life up. And I went in and read that book and I was amazed at the story. And I carried that mentality all the way through. Even though the first 5 years I hit prison, I walked around, because I'm not gonna say people are lying, but don't nobody get up in there and I'm going to be good and walk around. Now, there's some dudes that play with religion and do that right there, and that's what they do. But with me, I didn't have time to be playing with no Bible, no Quran. I'm not playing with nothing. I'm a real person, but I'm still on my ignorant shit, and I'm gonna ride that out as I see the benefits and the cons from it. So for the first 5 years, I walked around blind, cussing police out, getting more time and shit like that. But the blackness and what I read in that book, that had always been in me. So once I finally got myself in a jam, which I did at Lancaster State Prison, because I ended up leaving Calipatria and was transferred to Lancaster State Prison. Once I got down there, I got into some trouble where an officer had put a knife in my cell. A black officer had put a knife in my cell. You know what I mean? So that's why when I be like, fuck the police, if I am and when I am on that, I don't direct that just at white officers or any white non-white. It be black police be worse than the white ones. So I got into some trouble, up in there, and that's when I made a conscious decision then to not be on that ignorant shit no more. You know what I mean? Because I was facing life in there. It's kind of fucked up when you go to prison at 19 and you got a release date, and then you do some shit, and then you're going back to court, and now you're looking at 3 strikes. You know what I mean? That's not a good deal right there. That almost happened. I almost ended up with 3 strikes up in there behind something like that. And so once I got out of that jam, I didn't turn my back on the knowledge or the road I was on. I just stayed on it. And you actually make it rougher on yourself when you decide to leave stupid shit alone up in there. On that day 4, everything ignorant bothers you. You start to hear the conversations, the characters. You start to hate everything, but you still got calendars and calendars to do. You know what I mean? And then with the knowledge that you gain, you don't even have a crowd or some like a group of like-minded people to trade the ideas off of, because not many is on that path of, reading books and trying to better yourself and all that. They not. It's like that's considered some corny shit up in there.
Right. Wow. Just for bettering yourself and wanting to, gain more knowledge, huh? You kind of get shafted for that.
I seen one time, I'm sure they changed it now, but back in the day, you used to get a package, get a 30-pound package every 90 days. Um, or you can get a special purchase. A special purchase was usually like a TV, radio, some electronics, or a book or something like that. And I remember they were on the yard, they were passing out the packages, and this one brother was at the window for a minute. You know, everybody's anxious because you get a chance to get your clothes. You know, you get little Snicker bars and just the regular shit that you can't get from the store that your family sent you. So everybody's looking forward to getting the package. And this one brother was at the window. And he was kind of taking a long time. And the reason why I said a long time because he had got 10 books. I think you can get 10 books at that time. So he had ordered 10 books. And the officers, even something simple as a book is something big to them. They don't want you to have it. They got a major book list of books you're not allowed to have. Any George Jackson books, any Francis Cress Welsing books, um, Black economic books, and any psychology books, 48 Laws of Power, 33 Strategy of War, any like book that's considered high powered or like that, you're not allowed to get it. So
what?
This brother's at the window, he's getting these books, and the officer has to, flip through each page. And, he's doing extra shit. Ain't nobody, this ain't the old days when motherfucker got a file up in there in the book. He gonna file out through his bars and run out through the prison. They just be assholes like that. They find a reason to not give you a book, And he was flipping through the books. So this one brother, he waiting to get his package, and he's extra anxious shit. So when the dude finally leaves the window with his 10 books, the dude went up. He was like, man, you took all that time getting some books. Man, you getting smelt the fuck. This nigga getting some books. I remember looking at that like, man, this dude is super ignorant. Like, you mad that somebody get that? He couldn't fathom why would somebody spend money and have books sent to a prison. Why are you at the window getting books? You're supposed to be getting Snicker bars, coffee, I'm saying, some Chucks, you know what I mean, a jacket, I'm saying, some cigars. And he just couldn't fathom. And he was going off like it's normal. And that can kind of scare you up in there because the most ignorant shit up in there is like another day in the office up in there.
Mm.
You considered a weirdo if you was getting 10 books.
Wow. Why? I just don't understand. Like, if someone's trying to better themselves, like I said, and you're getting shamed for that.
That's considered being faking it. That's considered being a fake nigga. I heard the dude tell the other dude one time, like, you one of them niggas that come in here and try to read and get better, huh? Yeah, that's that fake shit right there. I'm a real nigga. And I'm thinking like, damn, that's sad right there. Real nigga mean come in there, do the prison shit, and then get back out. But if you come in there and try to better yourself, you being fake because you trying to better yourself. But there's some people in there that's like that.
And that's pretty much your own people saying that, huh?
Oh yeah. You don't hear that from. We don't hang with other races, so
right.
I ain't gonna hear that from no white boy or nobody else. I'm gonna hear it from another black dude, old or young.
Right, Lamont, and I'm glad you mentioned that, bro, a little bit earlier in the interview, with the relationship within our own community and how we need to better that, and find out what are some of the negatives so we can turn into positives. I feel like that's very important. You know what I mean? And you've lived those type of experiences, that your average person has not experienced. You know what I mean? So, for example, like the truce, that's going to be going down May 1st, over there in Los Angeles, correct?
Yes. Normally.
Right. That's a big thing, brother. We need unity.
Oh yeah,
and we
it's
need all
definitely
that.
It's sad that myself and a few other people we talked about the idea on how dope it would be to have to revisit the Truth and Nine Dudes on the corner where it happened. We never even said around the time because it's actually just one day after. The actual rock kicked off April 29th. We gonna be there on the 1st. So it's like we never even dreamed it would be that close. And I still kept the text. I got to screenshot that text and print it out and keep it because the brother texted me a couple months ago, was like, that Florence and Normally, it may be going down sooner than you think. And I was so happy because it's like that's a goal to work towards. But I never knew while we're working towards it, it would be this hard. I mean, you almost get absolutely no help. Like nobody wants to touch it. People are like, the youngsters, they gone. They let them die out, let them kill each other. They ain't shit. The younger ones be like the older ones don't want to teach. The older ones don't want to teach the young. So you got all these different philosophies from men, from black men, young and old, and nobody wants to lend a hand towards the effort of having peace and being able to communicate and see where we going wrong and see how we gonna lose in the end if we stay on the road that we on. I never dreamed it would be this hard. I actually thought people would jump on board. I thought people would jump on board, like, yeah, we need that. Man, it's people barely share it. I can go on one of the I've been looking at all, well, not all, but a lot of the YouTube videos where certain dudes from certain hoods speaking on peace. So naturally, I'm gonna jump on that. Like, why if we having something positive like this, why would I jump on an ignorant video and tell them about some peace? I got enough sense not to do that. But if it's on one where people talk about peace and what we need to do, I'll jump on it and I'll put the comment. At the most to this day, I think the comment, it got like 3 likes per each one I put it on. At the most 3 likes. Somebody correcting somebody on a hood saying or somebody who died or something. 44 likes, comments. I'm thinking like, man, niggas is ignorant. You know what I mean? And it's sad, but it never gets called out because it's the norm. You know,
Right.
and that shit is abnormal to me. It's abnormal. I never accept that as the norm. It should be abnormal. Somebody's talking about some peace shit to not jump on that. You know what I mean? I don't jump on the ignorant post where people talk. I don't. I know that's some bullshit. But you would think for peace, people would have some decency, but they don't. That's how low we is right now. You know what I mean?
Right. And Lamont, I got you. I got a he's a rapper in Sacramento, and I believe he's a Crip. I believe so. And he has like 25,000 followers. So
Right.
I'm gonna send him because I talked to you about that already. I got the flyer already, and I'm gonna send him a text after this, and I'm gonna see if he'll post it on his story, and try to get that going and some support down there in LA.
Yeah, man. Tell a brother to if he could, we appreciate that, and in turn, we support him. He can go down there and say a piece, or if he got some information he need to get out, or people to get in contact with him, more follow. However we can trade that exchange. Definitely want to get that going, man, because like I say, it's a shame, man, that nobody really wants to touch this right here. They just they don't even, they'll hit like and then that's it. Not even a lot. Not even a lot, man.
Absolutely, man. Lamont, what are some I want to touch on 2 things real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. I don't want to keep you too long because I know you got that baked chicken waiting for you, brother. but
Yeah.
real briefly, the correctional officers. I feel like we need less correctional officers and more counselors that actually care. And what's your thought on the corrupted correctional officers in these institutions?
Man, that can go both ways, man. I try to keep in mind, although I'm not in there, I can make a grave mistake by saying, yeah, get the corrupt ones about it, but corrupt, it boils down to different perspectives. One corrupt cop can be in there, not feeding people, withholding your food tray from you, um, allowing other inmates to jump on other inmates and things like that. But a corrupt cop can also let you make a phone call. Bring something in that you need. You know what I mean? Get a message out that you may need. So I'll always be careful to not sit up on any type of platform where I'm asked a question and jump into civilian mode as where, oh yeah, corrupt cop, because I know everything boils down to perspectives and a whole lot of different things. So far as the corrupt cop that's taken upon him or herself to be vindictive towards individuals and do things like that, oh yeah, definitely get them up out of there. But the ones that have some humanity in them, they need to be protected.
Right.
They need to be protected.
Right. Absolutely. I saw this I forget what prison, but it was all over social media. That prison that guard that got hostage, that took the
Oh yeah, I
hostage
did see that. I
by the
did see
inmate.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now in situations like that, man, I feel for them dudes, man. And it takes some stand-up people to do that. Because I've seen some dudes put up with some shit. I didn't have life up in there. I had a release date, but it's a lot of shit that I didn't put up with. That's why I didn't go home in 12 years. I could have been home in 12 years. But yeah, man. Some of them can be terrible. I've seen a lot of situations up in there from all races too. Like I said, a black officer put a knife in my cell, try to give me life in prison. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've seen a whole lot of piece of shit type of officers up in there, man. And they have it their way too, because a correctional officer, it's a peculiar job because number one, it's like one of the only jobs where you can show up late to work, it don't matter. Your uniform can be soiled, it don't matter. Not do your job description, it don't matter. Sleep on the job, it don't matter. Steal from the job, it don't matter. It's like almost anything they do, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those jobs that's where they can just come in and just do as they please. So imagine if that type of person is racist.
Right.
You know what I mean? They can get away with a whole lot. Or you flip that. Let's say if they have personal relationship struggles on the street. Like imagine, and it's not to pick on a particular sex, but it's a reality. So I'm not reaching for it, but just imagine a sister on the streets that's already not in a good situation with her boyfriend or her husband, whatever, kids, whatever, life, mad. She'd be mad about she fat, ugly, whatever. Imagine somebody like that coming up in the prison and with the authority to do pretty much whatever they want. That's a dangerous person right there.
Absolutely.
That's a dangerous person because they can just take it out on an inmate, but they have to take it out on somebody who's willing to let it go. But there's people who won't let it go. I remember an incident in there where this brother was coming in from yard, and he had asked the officer. Usually, when you come in from yard, they want you to go straight to your cell, but it's prison, and nobody's like a robot going around. Some people gonna do what they want to do regardless. As you should. You in there. As long as you ain't trying to break out or hurt the officer, you should be able to do whatever you want to do up in there.
Right.
So he happened to ask the officer if he could run to another inmate's cell to grab something. And the officer told him, yeah. So he's at this door, and they had one of those sisters that I described earlier. Mad at the world, not so good on the looks, so she mad about that and everything. So, she just, this is the best job for her. So she's telling him, she's trying to shoo him away from the door. And he's like, I got permission from the other officer, just ask him, calm down, everything cool. But in her mind, it's like, no, I told you to get away from that door. So as he's coming down the stairs, she goes to approach him. Now remember, he got permission from another officer. He pointed who the officer was and everything. She's taking upon herself to do this extra shit. So she walks up to him and she's like, I told you and everything. So he get animated back. And when you get when the real ones up in there, some spit gonna come out their mouth when they talk. Because she's talking to him fast. So I guess a piece of spit, not on purpose. I'm saying he spit on her. He didn't spit on her. He's just animated where he talking and there's some spit came out. So I guess as soon as it hit her face, she came with the backhand. Spanked him, right? And he beat the dog shit out of this broad. I'm talking about slammed her down, kicked her. He gave her what she had coming, what she should have got. You know what I mean? So it's like you see situations like that where these officers get besides themselves. The only thing that make them back up is getting hands put on them. And it don't matter if it's man or woman up in there. Nobody's picking on female officers, whatever. But when they cross the line, it don't matter if you young or old, woman or female. You got to get that issue given to you.
Right. Absolutely, Lamont. Now, man, this is great. Now, I don't know. We can talk about prison health another time, but I want to talk about PTSD and how that really goes unheard and not really talked about for those that spent long, lengthy amount of time in prison. And I mean, it carries a lot of trauma that goes along with it because things you've seen and inhumanity, all injustices that go on all up in there.
Right.
Has PTSD kind of like carried on, like carried on for you? Like, do you think you have PTSD from what you've seen and what you've been through?
Yeah, I think
Like
it doesn't
trauma?
matter if someone does 18 years, 18 months, 8 months, or 8 days of been. I think anytime you held against your will, you're gonna be a different type of person because that's a feeling that's indescribable. You know what I mean? And then to have it for so long, you see the signs later on when you're out here in simple settings, and it's on the individual to catch themselves. But it's like, what's the chances of that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially when you're faced with a new reality of being out and dealing with people. You're not gonna self-check yourself and be like, this is something that I'm carrying from in there. I shouldn't be like that. It's hard, but it definitely affects um people out here. It does. It's not just anything that's violent. You know, it's not just predicated on anger or being frustrated you can't get a job or being too turned up. It just has to do with just being hurled into a new environment, which is society being released, and then trying to adjust, and then remember, there's no training like for myself. The 18 years I did, as I got close to coming home, um, there was no counseling, there was no nothing. They just make sure you got the paperwork set up to get your ID, and that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? So let's say if I had psychological issues, there was no vetting system for none of that. It was his days came up, let him out.
Get you
Then
200
it's on the
bucks, huh?
individual to decide what goes on, and that's where a lot of families fall apart. Because I mean, just imagine the program up in there. If you're in there, you're in it for 18 years. That means your laundry was done for you. You get a food tray handed to you for the whole 18 years. I didn't have to work and get food. Um, your laundry's done, food, entertainment. You know what I mean? You lay up in the bed. It's like everything's given to you. So when you leave up out of there, a lot of those dudes, they're not looking to jump out, into the working world, jump to the rat race. You
Right.
know, a lot of them trying to sit down, and then your family, they try to put up with you for as long as they could, and then they start getting tired of you. You start denting that couch up or that bed up all the time. Shit disappearing from out the refrigerator. You know what I mean? The light
Right.
bill is going to increase because you got the light on a little bit more now. The water bill is going to increase. You know what I mean? It's going to be a sudden change, and then that starts to affect them financially. And then they have words, and then you end up leaving there and going somewhere else, and then the same thing can happen. So I feel for the dudes like that. Fortunately, I wasn't one of those ones as where I was a burden on my family, but that doesn't make my situation any better because although I had people, to go home to, I had a mother, my sister to go home to. It's the psychological thing with that. We didn't have the psychological connection. They wasn't prepared for me to come home as I wasn't prepared to come home and deal with them because we had conflict. We had me and my mother, we had conflict on my mother couldn't understand why somebody who just did 18 years, why are you waking up at 5 in the morning? Why are you getting laundry done? Why are you filling out these applications? Like, why are you doing all this shit like you a worker and before noon? And in her mind, she had interpreted that as a way I was institutionalized. And
Right.
then, and then mom, I'm thinking like, mom, you should be happy. You got one of them sons who came home that's programming.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm getting about it. I ain't in the bed, man. I felt like staying in the bed past like 6 o'clock in the morning is like a grave. Like
Really?
a grave. Like that's a casket. Like get out that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Get up and start moving. So, but in her mind, he's institutionalized. They probably told him when to go to bed, when to wake up, and she didn't realize she had the best type of situation you can get leaving about it. You know what I mean? He's up early in the morning. I would have everything done before probably 8 o'clock. You know what I mean? And I
Mm.
was extra out with it, but I had done 18 years. So to me, it's something wrong if a dude comes home and he sleep and it's like 7 or 8 o'clock. It's like you ain't getting enough sleep up in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? So I would get up and I would get laundry. I would make up shit to do. You know what I mean? I would do all kind of shit and then have it ready. And then by like 10 a.m., I might take a little break and I'm figuring out what I'm gonna do next. And I only sleep once a day.
Wow.
I only wake up once a day. It was no naps. For the people who do that, that's them. That's cool. But for me, um, getting out means getting back in motion. And then when I went in, I was always active. I was a robber out there. I did robberies and shit. So that's the hard adjustment. We didn't talk about that. It's different from being 19 and going to the mall and living out your pocket. You know what I mean? Go to the store and buy clothes, and then coming out where you gotta get a job now. I didn't have a wallet and wear a watch till I was like 38 years old.
Mm.
A wallet was like something for a square dude. When I was young, you have a rubber band and stuff it with money. But
Right.
yeah, that adjustment is something that, and then the people, they can misinterpret it, and then the arguments can happen, and then family fallout. Then you back out there hanging with people. But like I say, luckily for me, I was fortunate enough as to where I was so goal oriented as to where before my first year rolled around, I was already in my own apartment. I was paying my own bills. I had my own place and everything. Um, the only help, and I like to stipulate this, the only help that I had was being able to have a place to parole to. I had never leaned on my people. I got out. Um, I had a place to stay. I hurry up and got on GR. I tried to get the SSI, but the SSI wasn't for me, man. I couldn't. It would have helped me out, but I couldn't. I'm the type of person that's where I can't be going over here and spend months and months and months of trying to get this little 800, 900, whatever it is, and then not doing nothing in between. I can't. I can't.
What's SSI?
Excuse me.
What's SSI?
Oh, Social Security,
Oh,
crazy
Social
check.
Security. Okay, I thought it was
Get
some
a
like
crazy
type of.
check because I did the 18. I could have got out. I'm hearing voices. I don't know what to do. I don't know left from right. I could have played that role, but the thing is that I didn't have a history of taking medication in there.
Right.
So when I did go to this how dumb square I was getting out of prison. I go down. I know you're supposed to play crazy, but you got to have a certain demeanor to play crazy, and you got to break that mental barrier. I hadn't broke that mental barrier playing crazy. So, but I had enough sense to figure out, okay, I'm gonna go down there and try it. So I went down there, fit out the paperwork, but they evaluate you. They see how you talking. When I'm sitting there talking to the evaluator, I'm telling them about the dental lab school that I'm in. So by the end of the conversation, he was like, "Well, I'm going to deny you, but go ahead and keep up the good work and everything." I'm like, "No, don't deny me." But he was like, "But you're in dental lab school." I probably should have told him about that right there, but I figured I was going off the anxiety thing, trying to say that my anxiety level keeps me from getting a job and everything, and I'm just doing school just to be doing it. But apparently they figured, you too sane, so we're not gonna give it to you. But at the same time, you hear that you gotta get denied maybe 2 and 3 times before they finally give it to you. At that time, I ain't got time. Like I said, I got out July 28th, 2010. By September 7th, I was in dental lab school. Before a year came around, I was in my apartment. So it's like I don't have time to be trying to play crazy. You know what I mean? Because the things that I did, the robberies to get the money, if I had it any type of way, had money problems and slowly slip back into that, it would have been a wrap for me because times had changed. Remember, I was able to do robberies back then. Cell phones wasn't around.
Right.
So you had to worry about nobody putting you on there. If I had to slip back into that, it would have been bad for anybody in the place where I'm robbing them and trying to put me on camera. I'd have had multiple murders. You know what I mean? Because that's crazy to think somebody doing something, you pull in the camera and you record them. I'd have ran out of bullets. You know what I mean? So I know I can't go that route. So I had to get money the legal way, and that's hard after running up in stores and,
Right.
and pulling that gun out and getting that cash. It's hard to get it. You get that paycheck. You looking at it like, oh my god,
Yeah, that ain't
yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
Right. I
It's
bet
gotcha.
when that person was like, yeah, $9 an hour, you're like, what?
Put it this way: I was thankful for the job, no doubt, but my rent was $900 a month. My phone bill was $50. The gas, the water was free. My electricity, they wanted a $200 deposit from me. By the time I added up rent, Boost mobile phone, $50, food. Because remember, GR wasn't fucking with me like that. Once you get a job, they look at what you make. They like, you got to quit your job in order for us to give you some money. I'm thinking, why would I quit a job in order to get $200 food stamps per month? Like, you crazy, but that's the shit. So I added up one day. I was able to pay all my bills and everything, but after that, no saving, flat broke, and I couldn't even afford to have maybe fast food, maybe not even twice a week. We talking about cheap shit, like 7, 8 bucks. I wouldn't have had enough. I had to hurry and give me a roommate. And my pride wasn't too big to get a roommate because I waited out. Or I can live up in here and slam the door and say, this is my shit, but that motherfucker gonna echo when I'm the only one up in there. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm like, shit, you had a celly up in there, you know what I'm saying? So get a celly out in this motherfucker, make sure everything cool. And that's where the brothers kind of like they gotta blame themselves because I was able to link up with another brother and we basically we kept that G code and that prison mentality and we was able to do it like this. And this is a complete stranger that I met at the Social Security office. Matter of fact, while I was in there trying to get a check, he was in there trying to get his birth certificate, and we talked about the school, and then he waited for me when I came out for my meeting. So that shows right there that pretty much niggas today, they'll group up and talk about sports and bullshit, but me and this gentleman here, we recognize our situation and we talked about jobs. I'm talking about from the bottom, telemarketing jobs where you can, horrible work and getting paid low wage. He waited for me and we came out there and I turned him on to a telemarketing job and we just went from there. So in the end, I ended up in an apartment. He moved in with me. He saved up. He got the car. So now we got an apartment. We got a car. We made things work. You know what I'm saying? That's what cellies do up in there. So I had the place. Hey man, come over here with me. Bam. He saved up. He get the car. So we went from catching a bus. We worked at the same dental lab too. We went from catching a bus to the dental lab to now riding dental lab and then coming back to our apartment after work. So and we kept it straight like that. You know what I mean? We kept it straight like that. No overspending. We had cleaning details. We ran that apartment like it was a jail cell. Super clean. Food stacked up. We had a Costco card. We making it happen. You know what I mean? Didn't have no party. Didn't have nobody over. We was on the straight and narrow because we was looking at our situation as like a serious type of thing. And we was in a
Right.
situation as where one slip up and it's over with.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we made it successful. Right now he drives trucks right now. He's driving trucks
Okay.
right now.
I was about to ask, are you guys still in contact?
Man, he uh we just talked I think a couple weeks ago. But yeah, we always stay in contact, man. We always stay in contact because he's on the video. I had to point him out to you. He's a brother. He got a stocking cap on. He's in the video, man.
Okay. I'm gonna have to peep that
He's on the
again.
video. Yeah.
Is he out in LA area? Los Angeles?
He's out of Memphis now, but with the trucks, he was just in North Hollywood. You know what I
Okay.
mean? He's back and forth in California. We actually were supposed to sit down and talk about it. Either a blog or either on a video. We just been busy, but we definitely gonna make that happen, man. Because we have a unique story.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, are you want to start your own podcast deal, kind of?
I want to so bad, man. I say yeah, because we have a lot of topics to talk about. Like for one instance, there's a law where when you get out, you're not supposed to be around other parolees. No gang members and no parolees. Anybody
Really?
on probation or parole, you're not supposed to be around them. And by us having this job at this dental lab, we forced the parole in the valley at that time. We forced them to drop that far as with us because we moved in together. It's like you can't be in control of where somebody live at now. Y'all ain't in control of that. So just what happened that I had an apartment and he moved in with me. We're not supposed to be around each other, but hey, what you gonna do? We both dwell here. You know what I mean? And it could be risky if somebody's not on the straight and narrow. But like I said, we was on the straight and narrow. We wasn't even smoking no weed at the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Apartment super clean. So and we made so much good strides as to where by default they canceled out his parole officer and they put both of us on the same parole officer. Just think about it. There's two black men that forced the parole officer that had two different parole officers. We both had different ones. By we dwelling together, they looked at the paperwork. They like, hey, they both dwelling together. Shit, only one parole officer need to go over there. So we had one parole officer between us two, and he would check up on us. He came to my job. I gotta tell you real quick about this right here too. And I'll probably show you a video if it pops up on my Facebook timeline. This is how fucked up the system is. This is how these people do you when you get out and you actually doing good and how they try to sabotage you. I've been attempted two attempted sabotages. I'm talking about serious ones too. The first one was my parole officer. His name was Officer Gudino, in the Valley Division, Mexican dude. And I got the job at the dental lab. He knew about it. I was on high risk parole, but because of me shooting a documentary, I had done a documentary when I got out. Um, I was on the straight and narrow as to where he knew he didn't have to worry about me too much. So he had never came to the job, so he wanted to come up there, and I guess he thought I had a job working somewhere where whatever he thought. I think he might have thought I was emptying trash or whatever it was. He wasn't expecting it to be a dental lab like that. So he scheduled to come up there, and I tell him, all right, I'll give him the address and everything. So he comes up there. Before he comes, he asked me about my break time. I told him. So he came up there, and he called me on the phone, sent me a text. I come outside. I had the dental lab I worked for was a private company, so I wasn't on some job where I got to walk around much over my back. It was a real relaxed job. I had family members that was mad because they trying to figure out how did you do 18 years? You end up in a career job. It was a career job. I didn't just get a job at a lab. We go on to company picnics and everything. It was nice. I was just getting paid bum money, but it was a nice environment. It was predominantly all women there too, so that has to be a culture shock because you go from watching niggas sag all day with bullshit fights to seeing all these women work around there. So he comes up there and I go outside. He's looking around, down that. I'm like, yeah. So he probably figured I had like some job in the back, some old shit. I work at a desk in a room full of. It was only 3 blacks in the room, myself, my roommate, and the supervisor of the other room was a black man from Inglewood. He had been a dental lab tech for like 20 something years in the Navy. So he controlled, this black man is controlling this room. This black man is the one that gave me my job. So this black man, my first paycheck came and I realized I didn't even finish filling out the job application. That's how I know that when black people are solidified with each other, we can make shit happen. Because again, he hired me at the lab, and the day I got my first check, I had realized that I need to go finish filling out the application. I didn't even fill out the application. They didn't have my address on me, but I got paid. So it shows you that shit that we can do. And he controlled this room right here. He was in control of all these people, like a room full of 30 people. I wasn't sitting in no corner nowhere. There was 3 positions of my job, and myself and the brother had it, and the Asian lady had the other job. So he came in and he's looking around, and it's a professional job. Fridays you can wear what you want to wear. Monday through Friday, you got to tone it down a little bit, but it was a nice job. He felt instantly intimidated. You know what I mean? Because he's a cop. I don't know what he was making, but he was a cop, and he's looking around. And it's a lot of women there, so he felt intimidated. So he wanted to go outside. So we step back outside. We talk, and he's like, "All right, yeah. So, do they know you've been to prison?"
Oh.
And I had to look at this piece of shit, and I'm like, man, what the fuck that got to do with me working here? Like, why the fuck would you ask me that? You know what I mean? I'm required to get a job, stay out of trouble. I got a job, ain't been in no trouble. I even shot a documentary. I ain't doing nothing. And you gonna ask me, do they know like what does it even matter? You know what I mean? And that's the intimidation, that's the low expectations, that's just the overall just bullshit that they expect out of black men. He's like, he couldn't believe y'all 2 niggas is working here. Like how did y'all pull this off? Like they probably don't know. And the crazy part about it, they did know because we used to get a kick out of showing them our ID, so that we've been in prison. They would be like, no, we can't believe it, because neither of us fit the description of being like we've been locked up. I think the brother he may have some tattoos. I really don't remember. I think he do, but our demeanor didn't show that we had been in prison before. So he pulled that shit on me there, and then the other sabotage was when I was 19 in Wayside. I had an attorney visit one day. And I go out there and I'm thinking it's my attorney. So I'm sitting here and I'm talking. And it's a new person. So I'm talking and everything, asking me about where I was born and everything. So they go to asking me about a murder. And I'm like, what are you talking? I'm not in here for murder. So he runs down to me how he names a whole bunch of people that I know. And then he's letting me know that he knows that I know that he knows that I know that I know these people. He run that game.
That
So
psychological type deal.
yeah. So I knew a little bit of the law, and I knew that he wasn't supposed to be there talking to me about anything without my attorney. I'm in here for multiple armed robberies and assault with a firearm. Any murder, you got. There's another route to talk to me about that. But that's how they figure people is. I guess dudes be snitching, like that. So we get into an argument, and he leaves. Bang. So I do the whole 18. And then when I get out, I have this white officer before they gave me Gudino. I had this white officer as my parole officer, and one day he called me up and was like, "All right, we're gonna transfer you over." And I'm like, "Why?" I knew it was strange because these people, I had just got out, so why would I need a new parole officer? But it was some officers wanted to come talk to me, And this is what I like about being able to talk about the stories. I know a lot of dudes who fold and pressure and all kinds of stuff. I'll be proud that none of that applied to me, and I'm a stand up type dude. To a lot of other people, it don't mean nothing, but to me, it do because, like I said, there's not many dudes who would say they did the 18 straight. They ain't got no smut in their name. If they happen to unfortunately be sent back to prison, I don't have to be like, oh, don't send me to that one because this happened to me. I can go any of them. But these detectives want to talk to me about the same murder they asked me about when I was 19. So you figure 18 years later, like, what the fuck are you asking me about some fucking murder for again? I gave you the answer the first 19 as well. I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't need to be talking with you. So I guess they figured it's gonna change. So by law, they asked me to go down to the parole office. Now, I didn't have to because there was no warrant. There's nothing there. But at the same time, you got to play chess with these people because if I refuse to go down there, they could bother me more.
Right.
And remember, I'm on high risk parole. I'm on 3 strikes parole. I'm on the type of parole where when I get pulled over, I get stopped. I have to immediately show my ID. If I don't, cuffed up, go to the station, they figure it out. Even if I didn't do anything, my day has been disrupted by doing this. So a smart motherfucker who's trying to get shit done, you're gonna go ahead and submit to it. I've been stopped plenty of times for bullshit. We just got a call for a robbery. The guy looks like you, got on what you got. Let's just check you real quick just to make sure. I've been through that shit a gang of times. So they asked me to go down there, and I decided to go down there. And I go down there, and 2 detectives in the room, and the same thing. What mistake they made is that, I don't know if they looked at my paperwork and seen I did 18 months or what it was, but I'm thinking like, because they gave me a time to be there. By the G code and how prison work, you don't be nowhere right on that time. You something like that, you be there 2 hours early because you need to be able to see the scene, see all what's going on. So I get there extra early. I get there early enough to see them come in. So when I'm sitting in the lobby of the parole office, they see me, they already mad. They like, damn, they prefer to have to jump on me, come up in there, get the room set up, camera, whatever they was trying to plot. I'm already in the lobby on my phone, you know what I'm saying?
Step ahead.
Playing on my phone. I see when they come in, so they already mad. It's like, damn. So we get pulled in the room. So they do the small talk, and then they do the bad cop, good cop. So the one officer is a white dude and a Mexican dude. The white dude's asking me questions, everything. He gonna be the nice cop. The Mexican dude gonna play the bad cop. So the white cop shows me a picture, and he like, this dude. I look at it, and I honestly didn't know who the person was. I'm looking, I'm like, nah, I don't remember him. And the Mexican cop loses it. Like, motherfucker, you lying? That's your homeboy. So I grab a picture and I look, and it's one of my homeboys, right? And I'm like, oh, that's the homie. And I think like you was a dumb motherfuckers. I just did 18. We all look different at 18 years later. He had gotten fatter, I'm thinking like, how the fuck you expect me to see this motherfucker now and recognize? Like, man, you stupid. So he gets right to it, and he's like, well, so you don't know nothing about what happened. And I'm like, I told you the same. I'm gonna take the same answer that I told them back in 1992 when you interviewed me in Wayside. I don't know nothing about nothing. Right. So he becomes irate. So he tells me, so how do you explain your prints being at the murder scene? And I'm sitting here like, man, this dude is really, really gonna come with that. And I got scared for the first time being out. The reason I got scared because I was scared of what I was gonna say next to him. Because I'm knowing that if you suspected me of committing a murder, I would have never left Centinela, where I paroled from. I would have never left that. It would have been an immediate warrant. I would have exchanged custody. I would have came out there and new cuffs would have came on. I would have got booked into whatever county they was from. So I tell them, I'm like, man, it's unfortunate that somebody lost their life, but this shit you putting right here, and I ain't have to come up here, man. So this interview was over with, and don't fuck with me no more. And I got up and I walked about it, and they left me alone. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's like they'll apply pressure and just try to cause some shit, And like I said, I was a model parolee, man. I had a documentary shot on me. Um, got paid for it. You know what I mean? Um, everything was going good. Job, I was never idle at the house. I had always had a job. No pissing, no dirty tests. They started even testing me. Like absolutely nothing was going on. But so much progress as where I could flaunt it in their face. Like I used to go. I started running a cleaning company. I started a cleaning company of my own, and I would go to the parole office, and normally it's crowded up in there. You got to go to the booth. You got to sign and all that. I used to go in there with an attitude. I used to go in there and bang on the window like, where's my parole officer at? I got a job to do. I ain't got time for this shit. I would fake like I'm really busy, even though I was. But I would just go in there with my chest poked out because I have a job. Everything was straight now, so I could boss up on. I ain't got to be in there all timid, worried about a dirty test, or I ain't got no job. I would go over there. Where's he? I got time. I ain't got time to be sitting around here. I would walk around, bothering the people in the back. Where's he at? I gotta get up out of here. So eventually, I got off high risk parole within 2 years. They tried to keep me longer just so he can keep a paycheck, but I got off within 2 years. Gave me my paper, my card, my parole card, and I've been rocking, pretty much self-employed ever since. I had jobs here and I don't mind taking a job here, but I prefer to be a job that's like hit and miss here and there. I don't like being confined, like you gotta be there at 9 o'clock Monday. I don't like that shit.
Right. You like being on your own time. And I want to talk about I wanted to talk about the whole interrogation and the tactics they use to try to kind of persuade people into misleading them and saying things. And that's where wrongful convictions, tend to pop in, Khalif Browder?
Yeah.
Have you Khalif Browder out of New York? He went to Rikers at 16.
Yeah.
And it speechless, just left me speechless. And it's sad that he committed suicide because of the trauma he faced from the officers and being in Rikers Island. You know what I mean? Being followed and officers not parole officers not liking or oh, this dude just got out of prison, whatever it may be. He shouldn't be living a good life. He shouldn't be moving into a positive direction. He should be right back in. And that's what I mean by the system, kind of has this mysterious ways of having a negative effect. And it's corrupt, like we've talked about on the phone. But
Khalif, I want to say this. Khalif Browder, he got one of the most horrible stories you could ever hear of. Horrible stories. But one thing I can't deny is that the system, the criminal injustice system, they did what they did to him as far as the paperwork.
Right.
Putting them in there, some of the mistreatment in there and when he got out. But we can't leave out the fact that it was the niggas in there that was doing the physical shit to him.
Right.
The niggas did that shit. Them dudes up in there, they did that shit. So it's like, if he had been just going through the regular trauma of the system and the police, that's something totally different than being in there, going through that, and you got these those stupid, dumb niggas that was doing what they was doing to him. And he was a stand-up dude. You seen the footage of him here fighting all them niggas?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that was a soldier right there. That dude could have been used for all kind of shit, man. He was a soldier, but yet still you got these little dumb, I call them nigglets, these little dumb nigglets jumping on him and everything, and he wasn't running. He was that one episode where he fighting all of them and the officer put him in that room. They all like wild trying to get through the door. That's some shit right there. Well, I'll never forget that. So when people talk about his story and we talk about the system, I'll be like, yeah. But imagine if he was going through that, just with the folks up in there, with those people, but without the drama from the niggas in there. I'm telling what he would have been.
Right, absolutely. And it's crazy because like you mentioned, you're not hanging out with any other race. You know, I feel like it's different on the East Coast because you got the Puerto Ricans or whatever. Maybe
Right.
the whole politics are different, but those are your people, and they're turning against you. So it's like, who do you trust?
They did him. All the footage I see in there, I seen the one with the cop doing all this and that to him, but the worst footage came from, I seen niggas attacking.
Right. That's
The
facts.
worst damage came from the niggas up in there, man.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that because I kind of realized it, but I didn't really go in depth with it. And I'm glad you touched on that point, especially.
Yeah, man, you never want to get caught up in the whole the race. That see one thing I learned, racism. Racism is such an evil thing as to where you can perceive it where there is none because you expect it and you're used to it.
Right.
Hold on.
I hear you. You're good. I hear you.
Be calling and shit. Yeah, racism is so bad as to where you can expect it and it won't be none and you'll still perceive it as that. It's a terrible thing and it hurts everybody. There's situations where black people enter rooms and feel inferior and the slightest bit of something else happening from another race, oh, they're racist, you know?
Right.
And then it affects white people sometimes feeling like either they feel like the black person doesn't understand something about them. They're gonna think that they're racist. It's fucked up because a lot of times it be just miscommunication. You know what I mean?
That's right.
But I'm always careful to catch myself. Like that's the easy thing to jump into, man. That's it's a especially when like in there the racial cases that's been in. These are racial situations as to where you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? There's no like a High Desert. When I was at High Desert, I was up there for 11 years. That's the only prison I've been at where I use like the word cracker, honky, devil, motherfucker, bitch, hole every day for the whole 11 years. At the offices, you know what I'm saying? Every day. It was like the most horrible, just troglodytes, just some bad officers up in there. And they wasn't afraid of the racial remarks exchange, you know what I mean? At all. It was openly, you know, nigger, and we called them crackers.
Oh wow. That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. And they're the ones that are kind of, you know, you guys kind of run the prison, but they're the ones, you know, that have more authority, right? And they can lock you guys up.
The inmates used to run it. When I first went in, I understood that saying we run it, you know, because they needed us for certain jobs and everything. But I was in there long enough to see the inmates run it to where police inmates run it. You know what I mean? The police inmates, the informants, but they run the shit, and then goofy shit. And I'm glad I left before the goofiness set in, man. I would have been sick to my stomach still up in there right now, seeing all the goofy shit. But I left right before the goofiness like took over. You know, when I was in there, like the number one like new thing that was happening was dudes just allowing police just to talk to them any type of way in TV shows and just, you know, just the whole G code started falling apart. And it fell apart because when I did a review of it, when I got there in 93, I caught the tail end of when the soldiers were still in there. You know what I mean? People had that militant mentality and all that. I came in on like the tail end of that. I'm glad I got a chance to see it, but I came in on the tail end. And before me, from my review, what it was that you had men up in there that had structure and they had a code going on, and everybody, you know, the overwhelming majority stuck to that code. What happened was that as weaker dudes come in, they don't want to stick to a code. Like there's some men who don't want to go to prison. They don't want to be underneath any type of authority. Like the average, if you was to ask the average person, do you think dictatorship is good? And they would be like, no, 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 no. With me, I actually know that dictatorship it can be a good thing because you could be somewhere where you get a bunch of goofy people doing goofy shit. So if somebody comes in and they start dictating to not do the goofy shit, that's a wonderful thing. But we tend to put like negative connotations on words just because, you know what I mean? So dictatorship doesn't mean a bad thing. It could save your life.
Right.
It could
Absolutely.
save your life. You could be a threat to yourself, not even know it. So by that G code falling down and getting ostracized, a lot of the weaker dudes who wanna come into prison and mess with homosexuals, just make wine all day, steer young dudes in the wrong direction, lay up, watch TV all day, sleep all day, play chess and checkers all day, play cards, basketball all day. It's like you had them type of mentality dudes coming in. And I know for a fact when I was in there, the ones that was coming in like that, those was come from the single mother homes. And that's not to demean the single mothers because I come from a partial single mother home. That's why it all depends on how your mother raised you though.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all how you. There's nothing wrong with dude being coming from a single mother, but it's how your mother raised you. I got an old school type mother, so I knew certain shit that a man would teach you. You know, to a degree. Your mother can't teach you everything, but at least the mothers would stand up back then. So I got a chance to see the new breed a young man coming. I was 19 when I came. Like I said, when I told you the story about the dude came up to me with the book, I knew that this is some manhood shit right here. It's a manhood test right here. There's no me feeling down or him trying to boss me. I didn't take that, but I knew that this is some manhood shit. A new dude now, the new nigga now, he'll go up in there. He would tell on dude. He'll tell the police. He told me to read this book. He'll get the police the book and make up a story and shit. He'll miss the whole lesson that this motherfucker trying to edify you. You know what I mean? This is good for you right there. The new dudes now, they no structure, and you got to understand where they coming from. These dudes is waking up in the morning. I mean, this I don't know if your situation, but can you ever imagine what it feel like to be a kid to wake up every day that you young until you leave your mama house and never see a man in that home like taking out trash and like doing some manhood shit, fixing something or
Amazing.
laying down the law in the house, like doing some manhood shit. Never seen that shit. Only seeing your mama do the trash, cook, cuss, hoot and holler in the house. That's all you know. So when you get to prison and you see a man with his fist balled up, leaning up in your face, you instantly gonna be like, oh, I don't like this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they would tell on them type of dudes. They would tell the police on them dudes, and all them older dudes that had struck a real black men, they all got gaffled up. They was all sent to the hole. So what you leave on the line now? You leave the goofy dude who want to watch TV, play checkers and chess, tell war stories all day, make wine, fuck with faggots, um, play games. No teaching, no nothing. And then you had these dudes thinking that's how you do time. You know what I mean? So I came in on the tail end of when them dudes were still on the line. You know what I mean? So that's why I think in the manner that I think, because I actually it ain't that I believe. I know for a fact that G code and penitentiary politics, it will work out here and it'll change the whole structure of the streets. It'll be rough, but it's only rough for the feminized dudes. Believe me, it's only rough because the structure I came up underneath there was no you wake up and go to sleep once a day. Sleep once a day. You don't need to take naps. You're in a baby, you know what I mean? You go to sleep at night and you wake up in the morning. That's it. You don't sit on your bed. You don't lay on your bed all day. When you wake up in the morning, you roll your mattress up. It's a bed to sleep on, and in the morning you roll it up. It's a chair. It's a study desk. You know what I mean? You roll it up and you don't unroll it until it's time to sleep. You're only supposed to lay horizontal to sleep, not to get rest on it, just to sleep at night. The next morning you roll the motherfucker up. Um, During the month of August, you cut back on TV and joking and shit like that. Some people unplug their TV and they make the TV face the wall. Some even unplug their TV and they put it in the laundry bag and you put it underneath the bunk. That's signifying that you ain't controlled by the media. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when you get the dudes up in there who don't want to do none of that, you're looking at a dude who watch TV all day. I seen some dudes up in there. Man, I had one study one time. This dude, man, he was an older dude too. He was 43 years old. I forget how old I was. And his TV always stayed on. All he watched was sports, all the little dumb shows and everything. He never watched National Geographic, no, nothing where you can learn some shit. Because at High Desert, I remember at one time they had us. I think we had like maybe like 11. Can you imagine 11 channels on TV?
we had like 11 channels, and you talking about back then, you talking about all goofy shows, Moesha. I mean, bullshit, like straight bullshit. And you get grown men watching this shit, and all he did was fill his mind with just uh, uh, judge shows, the Ricky Lakes, and all the straight bullshit. And he couldn't read. He couldn't read too good. I remember one time he got a ducat, which is a little ticket of like a job. They come out and they'll pass out ducats, and your ducat may say you working in the kitchen or you got a job over here. It's not an application. It's like a notification that you got a job somewhere. And usually people are happy to get that. He had got one to work in the kitchen as a cook. And that's a good job because that's food. That's food. You know, you make money cooking. You get to cook the food how you want it. It won't be all bland and unseasoned. You can cook it how you want it. You can sell food. It's like a kitchen job is a come up. You get to leave it. Anytime you get to leave your cell, if you have a job where you have to leave your cell, that's a come up. Because who wants to spend all day in the cell when you can venture out? And you know, it's an avenue. And he read his ducat and it said cook. And he instantly became irate and he didn't want the job. He was huffing and puffing. And I knew what it was. You know what I mean? The reason why he didn't want that kitchen job is because as a cook in prison, you got to read ingredients.
Right.
Got to read shit. He can't read. So to play it off and save face, fuck that. And his job was a porter. So what motherfucker in their right mind would want to keep a job where you got to clean showers? You got to clean showers and mop floors and run errands for motherfuckers in the building. You know, I don't know if you ever seen a prison shower, but can you imagine what's on a prison shower wall and floor?
Hopefully boogers,
you got
the prison slippers
boogers, piss, cum, shit, spit, any type of liquid that come out of your body, it's on the wall in prison. Who would want to clean that shit up as opposed to going to a kitchen job where you have food? It may be a female staff member up in there that you can fuck. You know what I'm saying? That work in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? You may go up in there and get some pussy. You know what I mean? Who would want to trade that and keep a job where you scrubbing the walls with niggas in there jacking off? It's like that's crazy, but he had to because he couldn't read.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can end up with dudes like that, man, that don't aspire to do nothing. But back when I was getting to the point I was trying to get to with the TV was that he kept his TV on all the time so much as to where I used to hate it because I hate TV. I don't watch TV. I will cut it on like to watch something specifically, but overall I hate TV because I seen it be the downfall of a lot of dudes up in there. Their brain just watching TV all day and just crazy shit, man, not learning nothing. But he would watch TV all day and keep it on, and he would have it on when he sleep. So one night I was on the bottom bunk, he was on the top, and I looked up there. And I said something to him, and he was dead asleep. I reached over and cut the TV off. No later when I cut it off and sat back down on my bunk and laid down, he leaned over and cut the motherfucker back on like a robot. He was so used to hearing the TV, he woke up out of a dead sleep because it was silence. And he cut his TV back on. I was like, man, that's sick right there, man. He wasn't watching it. It's just the noise of having a TV on.
Wow.
You know
Do you think
I mean?
that kind of helped him go to sleep?
Trauma up in there is something else.
Right. You think that kind of helped him go to sleep just because just the things around him?
It ain't just sleep. There's people who come in and they'll be doing something else in the cell, but they'll reach over and cut the TV on. And you be like, why is it on? Or just feel like it's somebody else in here with me, just this company. Yeah, I seen people abuse TV where that's why I hate it. I hate TV, man. I hate TV. Because you don't sit down and you don't watch it for what you want to watch it for. You cut it on. Let me see what they're doing. That's that you open to so many different emotions, lies, the news, bullshit, comedy. You know, it's just way too much, and you're not really intended on taking it in. You just sitting there and you open to whatever it is. I ain't open to just cut on some shit and show me anything. I'm not open to that. I want to go somewhere specific. Like, do you want to go to a movie theater and they spin the wheel on what they're going to show you to watch? You want to watch a specific type of movie, right?
Right.
With TV, it's just they just cut it on, just anything. So within that anything, you watching motherfuckers watching gay shows, dumb shit, white culture type shows. It's like, nah, man, I like that right there. I like to know what I'm about to see or study or spend the next 2 hours or a half hour, whatever it is, watching.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that goes for sports too. That goes for sports too because I used to be into sports. As far as watching it, everybody liked to watch a Laker game and shit like that. But we ended up in prison, and I stopped fucking with sports when the Lakers played the Sixers. The Lakers played the Sixers, and it was that shot. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it was a game where Allen Iverson shot a 3-pointer over Tyronn Lue. He was a
And then he
little
stepped
young.
over him.
When he stepped over, I'm glad you remember that, right?
Right, right, right.
Okay, so I was at High Desert State Prison, and we all were watching it. And when Iverson shook him and shot that shot and made it and stepped over him, a dude from Oakland had laughed. And in prisons, in the California prison, the Lakers like a serious thing. Like if you like a Laker hater or motherfuckers are turning into some gangbang shit.
Wow.
And he had laughed. So somebody on the door was like, "Hey, this dude is really trying to make it into some shit." He's like, "Hey, whoever that laugh, fuck your mama and woo woo woo." Let's it was cuz woo woo, nigga, fuck your hood woo woo. And I'm like, damn, so we finna get it kicked off behind Iverson and Tyronn Lue. Man, I cut that. That was the last time I fucked with it, man, because that was retarded to me right there. That was
Just
retarded. Like, you don't get paid by the Lakers. Lakers don't give a fuck about you. You know what I'm saying? You mad about somebody laughing about a shot that another team made. So it went from fuck the Sixers to fuck you and fuck your hood, your mama, your kids. All the way there, all the way there. You know what I mean? Over again.
that's
So
how
after that,
petty it
I
is,
just I
huh?
just left it alone. After that, I was disgusted by it and never been back to it. I peek here and there, but not even enough to be significant to I don't like the teams now. I don't know nothing about it. Once I got out 2010, I really left it alone. I don't know nothing about who played for what. I don't know the
Right.
seasons when it's in or not. I don't know nothing.
You're not missing nothing because that's how social media is now, man. Social media is trash.
Yeah,
I can't stand like I love what I do, like I'll do my interviews and stuff, but I can't sit on my phone and really like go through. I don't even watch TV really either, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's crazy, the incidents that happen throughout your life in prison about, the whole TV situation, how it can control someone so
yeah,
much. It's crazy because I saw a thing and this I forgot what it was, but television is basically tell a vision, which is kind of portraying you into thinking something that's actually kind of happening when it's
right,
not, and it's not even important. It's
right.
kind of a distraction on what's going on in today's world, and what are some things that are going on in like other countries, especially. So it's just all a distraction, and
Yeah, major.
it's entertainment, So it's very sad, but anyways, brother. Let me see the piece. I want to check out that piece, brother. Yes, sir. And that's all handcrafted.
Oh yeah, that's all handcrafted, all wood. That's an African medallion. I don't know if you can see it too good on there.
Yes, sir. I can see it. So tell me more a little bit about it.
Oh man,
And what?
these
How do you make it? How'd you
I
make it?
got I got into this. I was at High Desert, and like I say, it's a 180 yard High Desert State Prison. The 180 yard. It was a dump off yard, which meaning that they send troubled people there. They send new people to the system there. They send shoe kickouts. It's one of them yards where it's like it's gonna be some shit. You know what I mean? It's gonna nothing positive about it. It's all the fuck ups on the yard. All the fuck ups on that yard. And we were out there, and it's just that's the daily routine of just some negative shit all day. And I don't know if I must have seen something one day, or just been in there bored. And I remember the old school medallions and shit, and really you could be someplace where a whole lot of racial shit where it just bring certain shit up out of you. So I remember looking in my dictionary and seeing a small picture of Africa, and then just taking a piece of cardboard and carving that out, with a razor on cardboard, and then putting a sheet protector, coloring it in, and then putting a sheet protector over that, and taking some toothpaste and US glue and hooking it up, and then the fake leather that's on like a Bible.
Right.
Bibles had that fake leather, cutting that out and stitching it around it, taking the paper clip and stitching it around it and everything, and then making a nice little fake leather or shoestring necklace on it and wearing it. Somebody see it and make me one, then I make one, and then more people wanted it. So by the end, I end up having, red ones on the yard for the Bloods, making blue African medallions for the Crips, and then making the Muslim ones. I made a few for Ansar Al Muhammad's up in there, and just whatever kind you wanted. And I was, making it up in there, and officers seeing people wearing medallions on the yard, and they had a meeting, and then they wondered who make these medallions. Then they started confiscating them, and they put out a notice as to where it's illegal contraband and everything. So it got kind of big, and then left it alone. Then I got out. I went down to the alley one day in LA, and my ex, her son was graduating. So while he was in the store trying on some tuxedos, I went to this Asian booth, and they had an ankh over there. So I purchased a little $10 ankh, had little small beads on it, red, yellow, and green beads on it. I looked at it. So I took it home, and I fixed it up a little bit, took the yellow beads off, kept it red, black, and green. I carved out the ankh a little bit, and I hooked it up, and I took a few pictures on Facebook, and a few people was like, "Hey, make me one." So I made a couple of them, and by the end of the week, I needed to go down in Western Union a couple of times and pick up money. So I said, well, I can do these like on a little bit better level. And I was explaining to my ex at the time that's where I can take a piece of wood and hook it all up and make it big, and her shaking her head like, nah, anybody gonna wear no big old piece of clunk of wood like that. I'm like, nah, it'll be dope. So I went on my own, and then I went ahead and hooked one up, and then, as 7 years later, still making them. I sold pieces to Dead Prez, a few low-level actors. This was one African actress. My cousin got her to wear one. I forget her name. I don't watch TV too much. I don't be knowing all of them. But yeah, it's been 7 years. I used to have a website, rbgmentality.com. I sold thousands of them too. I've actually made over $40,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? 1 year selling these right here. So by no means was I on like some bum, like making some new trinkets. You know what I mean? Like I said, I gained over 40,000 a year, and that was just off of PayPal. That's not including.
Do you have Venmo?
I didn't. It wasn't big at the time.
Okay.
I just had PayPal. I got Cash App too, but that's not including Cash App. That's not including checks that was mailed to me, cash and all that. It's a lot. So I did pretty good. You know what I mean? It was fun. You know what I'm saying? Waking up to $400. The biggest order I got one morning was $400 wholesale. You know what I mean? So I didn't have to work. My job was making my medallions. And it's fun. I don't have the website no more. Once COVID happened, I actually was supposed to pay for my website one day, but I missed out on the payment. And when I didn't pay it, I wasn't even mad, because I'm like, man, that's funny how that's like my bread. That's my bread meat right there. But somebody, I didn't feel funny letting it go. But I think my mind had transitioned into where I've been doing for a while, and I'm paying this website. Even when I don't get no sales, I'm still paying the website. So I'm like, you know what? That's not wise right there. So I let it go as a you commission me. So when I get called by word of mouth and repeat customers, that's when I go into it and make it mine. So I need to keep all my money. You know what I mean? I don't have to have a website. It's cool to have one, but I'll actually gain another website when I'm doing something that's generating money for sure each month from that. Other than just kicking out money just to rent a website, I ain't doing that. I don't have to do that.
Right. Hey, Lamont, have I talked to you about TikTok already or no?
You did.
Okay. That's another thing too, especially, and it's all free. You don't even have to like watch other people's videos or anything like that. You can just go there for you. Show what you do. Show the people what you do. A lot of people will be attracted to that and be really invested in love.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I mean? Yeah,
that's another thing about being out. I gotta be a little bit more open to certain shit, because for a while I wasn't even on Instagram. Man, this one sister, she told me she had to grab me and show me another person's Instagram that sold jewelry, and was like, put your stuff on it. I was just on Facebook just showing my shit, but then she's like, get on Instagram. So I stayed away from the TikTok because all I seen, and it depends on your friends. All I was seeing on TikTok was just goofy. I'm anti-goofy. I'm anti-goofy, man. I don't mind a laugh here and there, but I'm anti-goofy, man.
Right.
So all I was seeing was from TikTok was just extreme goofy shit. And I was like, nah. But then once you told me about there's other things on there, I'm like, oh, okay, it's one of them type of things. So I will get on there and check it out.
Yeah, for real, tune in because I got one of my buddies, not one of my buddies, a friend of mine now. He's on there and he actually likes it. And he does what he does is like prevention.
Right.
He actually spent like 6 years in the military, like in Afghanistan, when it was hot over there in Afghanistan, like early 2000s, and he spent 9.5 years in prison, and now he does like prevention and stuff like that. Talks about mental health, so it's pretty cool. And then I actually have another friend of mine that actually like sells his own merchandise, and he blew up. He has like 80,000 followers.
Is that right?
Yeah, something crazy, like 80,000 followers. And then like say like you make your first video, like say you make one tonight or the next couple days, and it's like perfect. It's like good content. Everything's clear, understanding. It can blow up. It don't even matter. It can blow up. You can get 1 million views, 10 billion views, whatever.
Did you see the Nipsey Hussle one that I showed you, that link?
I didn't check it out yet.
Oh, yeah, you got to check it out. Yeah, I made a dope one. I made a nice one. I made 2 nice Nipsey Hussle ones.
You sent
one
me
I
it?
sent
When
to
you
his
send
brother.
me?
I didn't confirm that he got it yet. I trust that the dude I gave it to was, you know, you can imagine something like that. I never knew him personally. I didn't know anybody that had a direct link, but I knew some roundabout people who could get it to his brother. So I took that route. It took like 2 years. It took like 2 years to get over there, but I sold one to this other sister, man. But yeah, I make some pretty nice ones, man. Both of them dope. Check out that link that I had sent you.
When did you sent it? What, a couple days ago, maybe?
I think today. I think I might have sent it.
Was it today? Okay, I gotta check that out. I don't know if I.
And it's on my YouTube.
Check it.
I do have a YouTube page on there with medallions. I got a few things on my YouTube.
Okay,
and so you got to go and check it out.
Yeah, I'm going to for sure after this. So you got like different styles you can do, right?
Oh yeah, different style. This is just something that I made for the event. Just, you know, it's a little smaller. Normally, like this right here, this is like a bigger one. I'm gonna work on this one tomorrow.
Right.
It's like a bigger one.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
This one is gonna have a black fist. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna have that in the middle, and I'm gonna have
like
the red and blue. Have the red and blue on the side.
Right. That's what I like to see. I got my flag too. I got my flag too. Right here.
Is that right?
Yeah. The one you were holding, was it your Facebook or Instagram?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got mine, and then I got Carlos right here, and then I got Malcolm X. You know.
I see it. Yeah. Well, I made some dope Malcolm X pieces too. I got some like, yeah. You got to go on my thing and check it out. I got a few videos on there, man. I haven't. I needed people telling me over the years, like, man, stick to your YouTube, but it's hard doing. I'm definitely into the social media. The technical part, I kind of got to sit down and get calmed down for that, because that's the part that stumps me. Right. I'm better off doing it and somebody holding the camera on me and showing what I do. I'm better with that. Yeah.
Right. I got you. Yeah. But Lamont, man, please, what you do is beautiful, man. That artwork. It's no other, and it takes talent. I've never seen that across anything. Like, not even, I've never seen, you know, artwork like you've done, like for your, what are they called again?
Medallions.
Like medallions. You know, I've never seen that ever. And people are going to see that on TikTok. They're going to start sharing it, and it's going to blow up. Then you're going to get overwhelmed with all these people trying to, you know, purchase them and all of that. But
I need that.
Yeah,
I can use that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tune in. I'm gonna tune into that YouTube, because I want to purchase one from you as well.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out on there. I got my medallions are on there. There's also an incident on there. You can't see me, but you can hear me on there. There's an incident I recorded at the MLK Day parade in 2013, I believe, 2013 or 14 in LA. There was an officer. It was a fight in the crowd, and two officers went over there and they broke it up. But one officer is got. I can't tell if it's a. I can't tell if it's a dude that's. I can't tell if it's a gay dude or if it's a woman that trying to look like a man. I don't know what it was, but it's a younger person. And the officer got him down and trying to subdue him, but the officer was never trying to put his hands behind his back and put cuffs on him. So the officer's like choking him out. And I went over there across the street, to record, see what's all going on. And after a while, the officer just like got the forearm just choking him out. So I'm thinking like, damn, this is fucked up. Like we all could be sitting here and witnessing the murder and don't do nothing. So in the end, I end up, the one officer ended up calling for backup and they're coming down the street and nobody's helping. So in the end, I end up, I'm not thinking if I should say it or not. I'm just making sure I get the shit right. I don't want to head up and believe like, oh, let me watch the video. It's on video, but you don't see me. But I had to end up swinging on the officer, and he got up off of the dude. But by that time, I had to get on because once you swing on the officer, you got to get the fuck up out of there. So I got up out of there and shit, man. And just to hear the screams and see what goes all down, it's like you see the difference between how I am and how the average person out here that do the bullshit when they see the police do something. Because I get the camera. They're on the ground, and my mind's telling me, okay, maybe if I get close enough to the officer, he'll stop. I got the camera so close to his face, he turns his face away like that. He's telling me, get away. When he turns his head, I go to the other side where his face is showing. I'm like, get off this motherfucker. I'm panicking. I'm like, if he choked this motherfucker and he died, I'm not gonna be one of these punk ass niggas standing here just watching somebody die. You know what I mean? Like for the George Floyd shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even though I have my different views about the George Floyd thing, but I would never let the police choke somebody out while I'm there. I mean, it's a gang shit you can do. You can stomp him in the head, run off. You can fire on him and get on. It's a gang shit you can do. It ain't always you gonna get shot, you gonna get killed and all that. And what made my situation so bad on this video is you see all the people standing around. And this is in the neighborhood, and it's some gang members around that got some heat. This the MLK Day parade. You know what I'm saying? And and nobody does nothing but the nigga who did 18 years in the pen. He the only one that seen something wrong. He the only one that got active. He the only one that put hands on the police and ran off. And the coolest part about it, I did that shit in front of my mama, my sister, one of my sister's friends, and my niece. And I had somebody coming out of the country to come visit me like 2 weeks later on. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why I quickly come out where I ain't the type to be hanging out because like it's if that's the get down, you gotta be careful where you at because motherfuckers will see you getting killed by the police and all they gonna do is just record you and not do nothing.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's on there too.
I'm gonna check it out. And that's give me the YouTube so I can write it down.
It's
Oh, you already sent me the link. You sent me the link.
I sent you the link, so you'll go on there.
You sent me the
click
link.
off them. It's medallions on there. It's everything that I've been doing is all on. It's a whole bunch of different stuff on there.
Okay.
It's interviews with people and all kind of shit.
Perfect, Lamont, man. 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Yeah, go by fast.
I don't know if that grilled the chicken's still warm for you, bro.
Oh no, I gotta heat it up.
You gotta heat it up. I mean, you're out Louisiana, so it's you're out in the country, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm in the city right now.
You're in the city, right okay.
Now, but yeah. But I live 100% off grid, man.
Okay, right.
Homeboy family, fortunate enough to have 69 acres, and we made some right moves and came on down here, and built up from the ground up, man. I was able to build a cabin from the ground up with my hands, and not on no shabby shit. We got a good out there. We got a pantry out there. We got a well. We got chickens out there. We got the dog out there. We hunt. Mainly just hunt, build, and the peace of mind. The peace of mind thing is indescribable. I could be on here for 2 hours. I wouldn't be able to describe to you how it is to be out in the middle of the woods and have everything you need and be content and comfortable. And you go into the city and do what you want to do and do certain jobs or whatever, and then retreat back to peace where it's nice. And I was out there for that snow that came down, 1 degree temperature. I was out there. I got a wood burning stove up in there. I got a fireplace up in there, so I was in there toasty and kicking back and just chill, living man.
Life, living it.
Oh yeah, living
it, man. That's what I'm trying to do too. I'm trying to I'm not really like city. I don't really like the city, to be honest, because it's just too much.
Yeah.
And with all the radiation and stuff from
Right.
from everything, the cell phone towers and stuff,
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of it. So I'm kind of going towards that route. Kind of living, outside, in the country, whatever it may be.
Well,
But Lamont, I'm not gonna hold you too long, man. I gotta let you get. It's a blessing
indeed.
having you on, brother.
When you
But
when you when you ready, take a trip out there, man. We used to be real big on showing it. Me and a brother, we was always like, hey y'all, come out here and see what we got going. We kind of backed up off of that because I noticed that a lot of our people, we real quick to just yap them yaps about how we don't like this and that, and the whole time ain't trying to change nothing. And we went out
right,
there, when COVID, we had been going out off grid on the weekends. At the most, we would be there like maybe like 4 or 5 days and just bringing stuff out. We were intense back in the day, and it was cool. But once COVID hit, what more better time to say, let's go out there, 100% full right now. I mean, because that could have been it. COVID could have been
right.
it. You know what I mean? So we made the right choice, and we went out there and was out there for a full year. From March 17th last year to March 17th this year, made a full year, and we survived. I wasn't wearing no mask. Didn't have to wash my hands all day, every day. None of that. Just do what we do, and we got showers out there and everything. We got, like I said, we got it hooked up out there. We It's not hard to live off grid. It's just a matter of having an idea what you want to do, having the area to do it, and then investing your money into tools and wood and just acquiring things in order to build a community. Because we built a small community out there.
Okay.
We got other cabins out there, so people are able to come out, and it's not like somebody come out there, they're in a tent. We put you right up in the cabin, man. We got water out there, hot, cold, we got lights, we got electricity out there, we got solar panels. We ain't in the
Ooh,
dark out there. We got solar
that's
panels,
something.
and we out, chill. I can make my medallions out there. We kick it. We live out there. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We're not camping out. We out there. We have to live and cook meals out there. Everything.
Right. The real life. You're
Yeah,
that's the real life right there. That's the
indeed.
experience for sure.
Yeah.
Are you
Anything
gonna make
shut
it?
down? Say it again.
Are you gonna make it kind of into like is it available for like an Airbnb kind of thing? Are you kind of leaning towards that too, or
We
not?
we invite people down, but it's all we go by a vetting system now because we done had a couple fools come out there, some people we shouldn't have even brought out there, and not appreciative of it. So we have a strict vetting system now.
Right.
But it's definitely comfortable, man. It's like an Airbnb. Yeah, come on out there for a couple of days and just chill. Like I say, the peace of mind is something else because all you hearing is natural noise. It's on 69 acres, so it's not like you bumping into anybody. You ain't bumping into nobody. It's trees out there. It's nice, and people be worried about like wildlife. It's some nighttime wildlife out there. You hear the wild dogs way up the way. It's like it's 1,000 of them. They be howling like wolves.
Really?
Yeah, you hear that. The moon,
Wow.
the moon is super bright. Some nights the moon shines so bright, you're looking at the ground and you can't. You're looking for like a night light in the sky, like it's that bright. You know what I'm saying? And other nights it's pitch black around it. You can't see your hand in front of your face.
Mm.
I mean, but it's always peace and tranquility out there. Your thoughts are just different. You don't hear cars. You don't hear no car horns. You hear gunshots because it's the South and the open carry, and people to the left of us, they be out there shooting. Some people out here getting ready.
All
I mean,
right.
some people training, they out here getting ready, man. So we got kale out there. We got a garden. We got a few gardens out there growing. We can eat off the land. I can wake up in the morning and have me a kale salad. I can have onions and some tomatoes and a few other things, mint leaves we got out there. So
Oh,
we be eating
man.
off the land out there.
Okay. Nice, man. I'm gonna have to never shoot whenever, and that's in Louisiana. So whenever I'm, down over there in that area, I'm gonna give you a
Oh,
call
definitely.
or text or whatever, and get that situated. That'd be real cool. That's something
Yeah,
that I've
definitely.
always wanted to do, and kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like,
yeah. There's a brother coming down this summer, man. We've had people come down there. We've done some gun training down there too. The brother that been out there, I think he was 15 at the time. He's coming back out this year. Gonna spend a little bit more time. it's a good thing for a young dude who in the city because and older, just any brother that's in the city, sisters too, but because it gets you about that city thinking, you know, like Walmart's always gonna be open, and I go here and get something. You gonna go back and feeling proud that you know how to build with your hands, like if the grid ever shuts down, you understand what plywood and a structure and a hammer and nails. You realize how important it is, and where you can build something from the ground up. You won't have to rely on somebody coming to cut your water on or off or any of that. You actually know what to do, you know. And then men being off grid, men and women automatically by default, you have to go to your assigned inherent roles. You have to go to your assigned inherent roles. If it's cold, a man gonna need to suit up and get that axe and go out there and chop that wood and get it in that oven. And by default, the woman will understand if she's not out there chopping wood, what the fuck is you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get that meal ready so we can come back. So it's like you actually help each other.
Right.
You see the need to help each other. You know, it's not a one-sided relationship. Everybody takes their inherited, assumed role. You know what I mean? And it ain't no faking that. And it ain't no boss bitches at that point. Ain't no boss nigga. Ain't none of that shit. It's like, do you understand your role? Can you get that wood? It's gonna be cold tonight, and you have to use a lot of forethought. Like I say, it's way above camping. You look at the forecast. It's going to be cold the next 2 nights. Oh, it's going to rain. That means might need to get some wood because when it's cold is through. I mean, when it's rain is through. I want to have some wood. You can't go out and collect wood when it's rain.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you always have to use forethought. You're thinking days ahead of time. And it's all for yourself. It's all for yourself. Instead of being in a city and you got to work and do this and that, and then the weather just falls upon you. You got to go around that. You know what I mean? It's not like that out there. Everything you do is for yourself.
Right. Absolutely. Lamont, man. It's a blessing having you on, brother, for real. And
Likewise, man, I appreciate it, man. When I came across that thing on there, I was like, and this dude just responded. I think it was that same day too, right?
Yeah, or what? I don't know.
I think it said 3 days or something.
It may have been a week. After.
Either way, I knew that when I look at it, if it doesn't say anything more than like 8 months, I knew it was new. So I sound like, yeah, this is fresh right here. I jumped on there and answered back because I'll be forgetting sometimes that's on there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I always forget that it's on there. And yeah, I gotta start going there a little bit more. But more importantly, I gotta shoot a part 2, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Bring everybody up to date.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's a bunch of comments. Did you go through all the comments almost?
Yeah. I probably need to go through some more. I responded to some people on there. You know?
Right. Yeah, I just don't like how that lady kind of did that. You know what I mean? There was no.
I never thought about that until you said it. I never looked at it that way. I always just looked at it as to where, oh, well, even if I want to get in contact with her, I can just go to her page. But by right, yeah, she should have put something in there, and she's never answered not one of the comments on it. It's her page.
Yeah, that's bad.
So I'm like, oh, okay.
That's bad. And then for you, in the description too, for this one, I have your Facebook, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So I just have that out. I said Lamont's social media or contact information, and I just put your Facebook.
Yeah, you can put the Facebook on there, and even a link to the thing with her on there, so people can see that.
Right. Okay. I'll do that too.
Yeah,
I'll throw that in there too. And then once it uploads, because since it's probably lengthy, it may take a couple hours or so, whatever.
Right.
I'll add that in the description, and then get that all edited. And then like you'll be able to see like the comments and stuff.
Okay.
Flush all in.
Yeah. Hopefully people see it. They'll react accordingly. Like I said, I'm gonna be catching that flight this Friday, man, heading back to LA and handling this event right here, man. I'm feeling real good about it, and I got a newfound respect for the brothers out there that's been doing this right here, man. Because like I said, nobody wanted to touch something as important as this right here, and it's crazy. I mean, you put up a post about DMX or Black Rob or a rap entertainer. Everybody, I mean, people telling stories of how DMX helped them through the tough times and everything. I'm thinking like, man, I ain't never seen so many men on somebody else's dick like that. It's like, it's disgusting, man. Right. You know what I mean? I understand, you know, he had his own problem, but I don't vouch for celebrities, man. I really can't see. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine having to wake up in the morning, rush to get to work, doing a job you really don't want to do? Some people don't even have transportation to get to work. They actually catch a bus or something, wait for somebody else. It's just going somewhere you don't want to be, doing something you don't want to do. At the end of the day, you big up in a millionaire who can burn $100 bill.
Right.
And it's like, and you vouching for him and speaking for him. That's sick to me, man. That's like, I'm so glad my mind ain't in no spell like that, because it's sick to the point where it's retarded. Because
Right.
you actually struggling in life, but you defending somebody who fucked their life off.
Right.
And that's retarded, man. That's sick right there, man. Think about that. They
Right.
defend
Especially with
celebrities like they
opportunity.
know them, and then half the people that defend them, they got a dope fiend in their family who they wouldn't loan $1 to.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like it's just sick, man. I don't know how the spell got that deep on people, but I think it's just from boredom and looking to their phone and social media as like a therapist or something, man.
Yeah,
That's just sick.
exactly.
I'm just so glad I ain't wrapped up. I'm glad I can see something and be like, oh, that's fucked up. Like when Kobe passed, that was a shocker to me. I was like, damn, that's fucked up. And you hear about it and everything, but by no means am I orchestrating my day around trying to get the facts of the helicopter case. And I was like, people go to investigating, and motherfucker act like they phone is like a mobile command center. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you got a telephone. That's a telephone. That ain't no goddamn mobile command center and all this and that. I never seen so many experts on helicopters until Kobe died. You know what I
Right.
mean? I mean, some of the shit you was reading, I'm reading like one lady, she said something about a helicopter traveling at that speed, it would be more damage or something. I'm thinking like, when have you been in a helicopter? You know what I'm
She
saying? When have
probably
you been
never
in a
had.
helicopter? Only helicopter you've been in, but at some fucking circus fair somewhere with some fucking other metal thing hooked up to it, and you was a little kid with a little thing going on. That's like, come on, man. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna lie, I get a laugh out of it, and I made a lifelong vow to never, ever, 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 ever pay for cable, because you can go on Facebook, Instagram, and social media and see idiocy for free. See
Right.
idiocy
Right.
for free. I would never pay for comedy shit. Like, I go on Facebook and laugh myself to sleep, man. Laugh.
Are you in some of the Facebook groups and stuff or nah?
No, hell no,
Nah.
man. I get my regular fix of retardation from Facebook, just for my regular friends on there that's slow and just going in the head and just, I get my laughs from them. Going into them groups, that's concentrated retardation. I can't. I'm cool on that. That's a little bit too much right there, man.
That's too much on the plate, yeah.
That's way too
Shoot.
much, man. Way too
Man.
much.
Well,
But
Lamont,
definitely
what
appreciate you doing this right here, man. And you're onto a good thing. I remember you mentioned about being a criminologist.
right. I'm studying criminology right now, and I'll be done this semester. I may have a couple. I actually have 3 more classes, so I'll be done in December. So get
Okay.
that degree, and I'll get that degree and see where it goes from there. But this is something that I want to do, and I got goals for myself. Um, like I just started doing lives. I think I love doing the lives. People are able to, check in, tap in, and then check it out afterwards. And then I want to go into these prisons eventually and interview, like do in-person interviews, and then like the afterlife of, for you example, Lamont,
Right.
the afterlife, how it's treated you in society, whatever, um, and sitting down with you and just getting the perspectives on you, and seeing how you are. But that's just down the road. But we'll see how it all turns out. You know what I mean? I
You
wish
ever?
I see all these other like YouTubers, and it's like, dang, like there's this dude, Big Herc. Um,
I seen them.
yeah, Big Herc, and he has a bunch of subscribers, and I'm like, damn, bro, how long did it take him to get there? And he's getting paid fat. You see,
Yeah, I
once
heard that it's big on there, man. I don't hate that I don't think I missed my opportunity. It's just that sensationalizing does a lot, and also focusing on a lot of like mundane stuff kind of like get you out there. It can kind of get you out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I still think it's an avenue for people who not focus on like the basic stuff of prison. Like, you know, like we sat on here and talked about the violence and all this and that, you know, people getting raped and all that, you know. But like I said, for the record, I was in the 18 years. I've never ever seen a dude get raped in there. And I was at bad spot. I never seen nobody almost get raped. It's like, what type of spot are you at where faggotry is that aggressive and everybody's allowing it? You know, it's like nobody ever thinks about that. Most people think it's gangster to tell a story about, yeah, motherfucker, take your booty over there. My question gonna be, well, what yard was you on where that's allowed to happen? Because the yards I was on, that don't go on.
Right.
You know? And that might have been like back in the day, because it was some stuff going on back in the day. But for my generation, like I come from the generation of, if you smoke crack or you some faggot shit, that we don't fuck with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's like, that was the weirdo shit. You know what I mean? But you know, it was some stuff going on back in the day where some of them dudes seen as we're like taking the dude's manhood was like a thing of like disrespecting him or making yourself hard. I don't know who came with that philosophy. I'm glad that shit wasn't going on when I was up in there. It's like, that don't make no sense to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? You taking some man's booty make you hard. It's like, what?
Right.
What are you talking about? But yeah, man, it's I think when they focus on like a lot of the negative stuff, people be mesmerized by it. Because I watched a lot of the prison videos, and I strayed away from it because I'm like, damn, they always glorifying like the same shit, but they never talk about the psychological effects. And that's how you can tell that these dudes either fabricating these stories or they actually crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know how I know I'm not crazy is because I know that shit is abnormal. To be up in there that long, like, imagine me being in there 18 years and all I could talk about is some fucking dick in the booty, some fucking drug or some gang shit. It's like, that's all you learned up in there. You know, very, very few of them touch on the psychological effects, even just down to the sensory deprivation.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
I don't think you even hear anybody talk about sensory deprivation. Sensory deprivation is you throwing a man in a cell by himself and he being in it with no contact, slamming a tray slot, that metal tray slot slamming. That's sensory deprivation right there. Because you get used to that shit. That's how you do an animal. If you feed a dog in a cage, you slam the lock. You know what I mean? Where it's super loud. They do that to humans up in there. And then also by default, sensory deprivation is like myself, being in there that long. The only time I'm ever going to touch a man, like I told you before, the only time a prisoner is going to touch another man up in there is you fighting the motherfucker, or you shaking hands throughout the day, or little hug how we do, you know, doing that, and that's it. It's like you're never in there with some man rubbing on your neck. So imagine paroling and you with your girl and she do this right here. You know what I mean? You jumping like that because it's a sensation. You imagine the more incensed the sensation, the more you're gonna be jumping and you know what I mean, jumping all around.
Right.
People don't talk about that. And the psychological effects of just being out and being around, you know, drifting off. But like with myself, I found myself at the dental lab job. I used to be sitting there, and my job, I was the person in between the person that makes the mold for a tooth and the guy that puts the porcelain on the tooth. And I sit there. I had a little brush, and we paint a coating onto the tooth. You put it in a machine, and it bakes it. I used to find myself there sitting there doing it, and then I would stop for a minute and be like, "Damn, I'm out. I ain't in that place no more." And you start feeling good about yourself, but you on a job. You're supposed to be working. So sometimes, like 15 minutes ago, by I could just sit there and just reminisce. You know what I mean?
Right.
That can affect you on a job, because imagine if I'm on some job where it's a conveyor belt or something where I got to repeatedly be in motion, I'm gonna drift off.
Right.
And it's not because I can't do the job. It's just that I'm caught up in the joy that I'm out. You know, because sometimes it does hit you like, damn, I ain't in no more. You know, I ain't been there. That's how you know you've been in it for a long time. You happy at the smallest shit. you could be thankful that damn I ain't in there no more. But before you know it, maybe 10, 15 minutes done went by and you ain't doing your job. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't lose focus. I guess that's a good way of losing focus, but it can affect you on a job.
But that's a great feeling though, don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
For me to get out of prison, I had always dreamed of being able to go to Subway sandwich and then go to a park and then sit down on the grass and be able to eat the sandwich and chill for a minute. Because all the areas I was at, either there's no grass or you can't really like lay on the grass. The places I've been at, Calipatria, Lancaster, High Desert State Prison, and Centinela, couldn't really, all level fours, you couldn't really you couldn't lay on it. You was a weirdo if you laying on your back. Like the whole time I was there, I had never been on my back on the grass, like just, today's a good day. It's like, that'd never happen right there.
Right.
Number one, your homies will fuck you up because you ain't good for security. You act like you at a beach somewhere. So like the most relaxed you could do is like, that squat, doing that squat, or go down to one knee, but you always, head on a swivel. You got to keep Usalama because the riots happen. Especially at High Desert, riots happen over soups. There was a 2-year lockdown over there behind a cassette tape.
2-year lockdown?
2-year lockdown behind a cassette tape. A dude had a white boy had a cassette tape, and somehow a brother had took the tape, and then through passing it, I guess he went to pass it one day to somebody else. This no telling how long he had it, and the white boy discovered that it was a white boy tape. So they approached this particular group about it, and the deal was, this tape, was stolen from us. We got it back. So just clean your people up, which means, discipline the dude that stole it, because nobody likes a thief in prison.
Right.
And this particular group, they didn't clean it up. So, that's the sign of major disrespect. The Woods, they ain't gonna approach nobody head up. You know what I mean? So they got together and got they artillery, and they came out to the yard and they stuck at the brothers. They stuck at the brothers, you know what I'm saying? They stuck at the brothers, with them knives. But, brothers fight back, and a few people died behind that war right there. There were shootings on guard. A few people had died. It's over a cassette tape. It was an actual cassette tape. People say, and we was on a 2-year lockdown. And it ain't like how you see on TV where they talk about these guys in their cell for 23 hours a day. No, fuck the 24 hours a day. Try every day for 30 days, and then the next 30 days. Like you only come out if you happen to get a visit, you go into your annual, you got to go to MTA or see a counselor or something like that. Other than that, you in there and you shower in your cell and everything. You can come out for a shower, but ain't too many men cool with coming out for a shower. You gotta stand at the door, and the officer gonna stand there. You gotta strip off your clothes. So like, who the fuck wanna get naked, take off your t-shirt and your boxers, and turn around and show them your ass in order to turn back around and get dressed and then come out to go to a shower, get naked, shower, and then get handcuffed and then go back in the cell? That's too much, right? So you just stay in your cell all day for weeks, months, whatever. You shower in there, we civilized. We ain't just in there stinking. You shower, but you just don't cuff up. And we went through that. I didn't go for that 2 years. That particular yard was only for 2 years. I seen a little bit over a year for that, but it was horrible. You know what I mean? Horrible. I mean, just imagine being locked in your bathroom for 2 years and just get the basics. Somebody slide that food underneath the door. 3 meals a day, 2 hot meals, one sack lunch a day, your mail. And if you have a TV or you don't, and then you're just in there for 2 years.
And that's a psychological effect for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, Lamont.
And also imagine within that 2 years, you left to your own devices and your own idea of whatever you want to do for them 2 years. So that means covering your window up and keeping it dark in there all the time and just watching TV for 2 years. Just laying up watching TV. Some people exercise and everything. So But yeah, man, then when it's over with, you can tell like who did what by the day that they let us out, because you get some dudes that come out to that yard, they like vampires. They still in their eye, they didn't keep their cells so dark like a cave. The natural sunlight's killing them. You get
Wow.
some dudes that they lose touch with. You should be able, as a human being, if you locked up in a cell, and you should be having enough common sense to look out the window and read the temperature. You can look at the ground. If you see grass and shit shaking, it means it's windy outside. If you
Right.
see sun super bright and the grass moving, that means it's sunny and it's windy outside. If you
Right.
don't see either, it could be no wind, no sun. Could be humid out there, but it might be a little chilly. Like you see, it be hot as hell up there sometimes. See a dude come out with the jeans on, jacket, everything. His mind, he can't even read the temperature from out his window, and he doesn't. His window is closed. He's just assuming that it's cold. He come out there and it's fucking 90 degrees, and you got a fucking prison jacket on, looking like a
Wow.
weirdo. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. You lose
How,
prison. How you really it had you gaining respect for solid men, and it had you losing respect for weak dudes that don't want to get with the program. Because it's like a dog eat dog, and we need each other in there because of all the racial riots.
right.
You know what I mean? So you learn to appreciate a strong black dude from wherever, blood crip, non-affiliate, Muslim, um, and then one that ain't on it, you kind of like you understand the whole process of elimination, and getting rid of the weak. You kind of that shit don't sound fucked up. Um,
How,
Selective. What's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like when you kill off people that's useless. It sounds horrible and all that, but man, when you dealing with on them yards and riots, and you want soldiers around you, you don't want no weak dude that don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? So
right.
it's like get him out the way and let somebody else be in that place that know what time it is. It's about accumulating soldiers, not just being around just all black people. Like, you want to be around all strong black men, not no half-ass this and that. You don't want that, because that one weak dude could be the one that's where there's a riot jumping off, and you getting done in by 2 or 3 different people. You would want that dude to run over there and help you. If you're going
Right.
to do it as a buster, you can only fault yourself. You know what I mean?
Hey, Lamont, not my dude Saladin, and he's in prison right now. I remember I was talking to you about him.
Right.
He said the same thing. They're all soldiers. You know what I mean? You want the
Yeah.
strongest, you want the best, because you rely on that person. For security reasons or whatever it may
Hey,
be.
it's crazy because I was telling my girl that, and she don't understand the prison thing. She thought that it's sickening, and that's institutional, and that's bad to talk about offing somebody that's weak, rather than just let them live there and be a must. And people don't understand, like this. It's gonna be like that out here soon.
All right.
And that's another thing about addressing this gang thing. Because okay, like one time I was at a spot where um the Mexicans, there was a new Mexican dude came on the yard, and he was looking like he was a Christian type dude. He was spotted a few times, speaking about the Bible and holding the Bible. So they approached him and they asked him, um, "Is you Sereno, or is the Bible dude?" And he was like, "The Bible, man of God, God, So they all right. And that next yard, they got him in one of them situations where um, you walking, talking with 2 dudes, and you in the middle, on purpose. He don't see what's going on because he's a man of God.
Right.
And he was asked, are you Sereno, or are you, man of God? He chose man of God. So he's walking and he's in the middle. And, you get in that situation where you get that arm lock put on you and that leg lock, when you, it's kind of like you being crucified. He got crucified that day on that yard. If you don't even hold somebody's arm. You just stick that arm underneath that shoulder. You hold that shoulder up. You stick that leg, and you can have somebody like spread eagle standing
Right.
up. So you got that free hand right here, and he just got he just
Oh.
from all the way down and the other side, all the way up. You know, he got crucified. I watched that man get crucified on the yard, and it's like it's fucked up because he made the wrong choice. But it's like at the time, man, you're trying to have soldiers on the yard. You can't have a dude that's running around with the Bible when it's time to get cracked. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't understand that right there. It's about having solid people around you, because if it crack off, that dude would be the one to run and not fight.
Right.
You know, so at the least he could have done was play the role that you were a soldier. You know, that at least play the role. You know what I'm saying? He was like, nah, he chose God outright, and what's a shame about it, God didn't even help him. God didn't forewarn him, tell him you about to get killed this day on the yard. Nothing. He just man of God, and he got done in. You know what I mean? He could have played the role, but you know, so I understand that right there when you're around a situation, you're in a situation where like stand up people, you will want to, and what's crazy, you want to stand up person. Nobody wants to be somewhere where 4 and 5 motherfuckers jumping on you, and a motherfucker over here ain't helping you. You want help. You know what I mean?
Right.
So and by right, you help somebody in that situation. So you know it's like a yard cleanup. You know, you try to have solid people around you, and weak people don't understand that, but that's how this country was formed. You think a gang of weak white people got on them boats and came over here? You know what I mean? It don't work like that. The best of the best came and put it down. And what's the correlation between that story and how this country was set up, and the connection with what we doing on Florence and Normandy is that behind this gang shit, potential soldiers is getting killed off that we gonna need, that we can use now. You know what I mean? It's not like weak dudes getting killed off, because that's one thing about the gang thing. People don't realize it's always behind somebody homie got killed in the 60s. And it ain't funny, but it's kind of like fucked up that you get a motherfucker that's 20 years old in the year 2021. You 20 years old in the year 2021, and you talking like you avenging the death of some nigga that got killed in the 60s. Like, nigga, shut that shit up. Yeah, you sound dumb as fuck. You know what I'm saying? You 20 years old in 2021, and you avenging some nigga death that got killed in the 60s and 70s. That don't even make no sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like potential soldiers get killed that could be used for this battle that's going on right now. You know? And they need to realize that. So it's like it's just a way how you present it, and it's a perspective that you can look at it. That's why the older dudes need to step up and present different perspectives, because it's a way how to deal with conflict resolution, as opposed to just still banging and just like a lifelong war. And then on the other hand, if it is going to remain to be like a lifelong war, then a demand need to be made that as a where only those that's choosing to bang need to have stuff done to them, and like leave the non-affiliates and people who ain't with shit, leave them alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the only recourse from that is black people that's with a particular program banding together and ostracizing the other group that's not with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I would hate to see that happen, but at the same time, man, people are getting tired of losing innocent people and people that's not involved with shit to gang violence. People kind of getting tired of that right there.
Right. Absolutely. Hey, Lamont, real quick, did the when you're in the inside, did the Muslims run with you guys, or how was that?
Man, the Muslim story is always funny, man. Cause like when I went in, I remember like Muslims being strong. Like you could tell a Muslim back in the day.
Right.
Shirt, I mean, from head to toe, haircut, civilized demeanor, shirt clean pressed, jeans creased up, boots shiny, stand up, exercise. You know, I remember that when I went in. But then over the years, the Muslim became like the clown nigga on the yard, man, doing buster shit. I remember I was at one spot where the Muslims wanted to have supreme control over the oil, the smell good oil, incense and shit, which is understandable because like the average person in there, unless you was hooked up through the the Muslims or some type of religious ordinance, you was able to order certain religious items, and then obviously you sell it. Everything's a hustle up in there. Everything's selling in prison. Goddamn, a suit pack. I seen one dude. He used to let the lunch meat that they give us that nobody eats. He used to throw it to the seagulls. He found out a way how to wash off the lunch meat and sprinkle salt and pepper on it and let it hang up and make beef jerky. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everything could be a hustle up in there, man. So by right, if they get the oils, okay, you buy the oils from a Muslim, but I think the police, they know how to create conflict where it's divide and conquer. They're the master at the divide and conquer, man. They're the masters at it. I don't know how how do you sit down and you always able to own point and devise a way to have people pitted against each other overnight. They always find a way, and they found a way with the oil. So they what the officers did one day, they took being able to get shoes off the packages. I think this was at Lancaster. They tried it. They took the shoes, ordering shoes off the package. You know, shoes is the big thing in prison. Everybody wants a pair of Nikes. You know what I mean? They took shoes off it and said, well, it's either or. You keep shoes in there or y'all get Muslim oil. So they took the shoes off. So obviously everybody's irate. Because everybody don't wear Muslim oil. Plus, that ain't no fair exchange. Walking around having oil or having some goddamn shoes. So it was a battle behind that right there. But yeah, the Muslims got to acting like they're the only ones that can get the oil in, and, you know, adding actual baby oil to the oil, stretching it. It was, I seen a lot of conflict up in there. But yeah, it got goofy, man. It got goofy up in there with the Muslims. And I felt bad because like the Muslims like the last hope of like being able to go to Juma services and learning about Islam, and not even just really learning about a different religion. Those were always the brothers that were civilized and wise. You know what I mean? They was always wise and civilized on the yard. But the same thing, just like when certain gangsters was coming up in there, the gangsterism get watered down with busterism, and the Muslims, they was getting watered down with just goofiness, man, and just you know, they dressing slacked off. I remember an unfortunate situation at High Desert, a brother I know, and this brother, he's an ex-A-Trade gangster. This brother, he was the E-man on the yard, and this other Muslim was out of line. And this brother here, he had to go in one day and put his boots on and get active on the yard because the other Muslims wouldn't clean it up. That's bad. You the E-man on the yard. You speaking Arabic, you holding a Muslim card now. You got to put your boots on and get busy on the yard because the other ones was too coward to clean the brother up. And it was like sad. I was like, yeah, the Muslims. Yeah, I seen them go from all the way stand-up dudes, head up high, to some of them even dropping out so they can go fuck with a faggot. You know what I mean? I seen the Muslims do a whole 180 up in there, man.
So are they pretty high in numbers or no?
Well, I mean,
from when you were in there, from
when I was in there, I mean, the numbers was never compared to like Crips or Bloods or even like just regular just dudes that's with the business. It was never super high. It was, I mean, I remember the Muslims at Calipatria when I first got in, like 93, 94 at Calipatria. That was the height of me seeing them because they were strong. You know, I that's why I got my first prayer rug was at Calipatria. You know, people thought I was trying to convert. I always knew that that's who you lean towards because, like, keeping it real, when you get that, nobody else was really, you know, lessons and books and all it. Niggas wasn't doing that. Bloods, Crips running around on the blood and Crip shit, on the nigga shit. The Muslims was the ones who had the books, was learning, they had programming shit, you know. So, you know, you look to them, you know, to get a good conversation or, you know, get a good book or, you know, learn something different. But I've always been open to functioning with the wise people from anywhere up in there. Like I said, the first dude approached me, it was a blood, you know what I mean? And most of the people I function with was all Crips. So it's like, I never played the whole, you know, I don't mess with them. Anybody who was wise and civilized, I definitely knew that, you know, that's who you should take confidence in and you can learn from them. But yeah, that was like the last stand up of the Muslim thing was it was at Calipatria, man. Once I got to like Lancaster and High Desert, it was. I seen a lot of dudes doing it and they converted to Islam. just out of just not being thrown to the wolves.
Right.
You know what I mean, being thrown to the wolves, and that's bad because you can have a whole bunch of weak Muslims that's just in it just because it's peace, and then a riot jump off and they talking about they not in it. And I've seen some instances where they were saying like certain shit happened on the yard, they wasn't with it. You know, like I say, goofy shit came in. I remember when it was a white Muslim came to the yard and they ready to fight for this Muslim dude, but then a white Crip come on the yard and they said they wasn't with that. So it a whole lot of just back and forth. Structure had fell apart. Structure
Right.
started falling apart up in there, so where people making calls, they shouldn't have a credential. They don't have a credential to make calls on. I started seeing a whole lot of that.
All right. Man, Lamont, I got you on here for too long, man. I love it, man. You need your own, for real. You need your own little deal and get that popping. And
yeah, I'm gonna mess with probably the impetus will probably be going on this trip right here because I know it's a lot to talk about. And I'm gonna meet some new people and everything. And it's gonna be a lot to talk about when it's over with. You know what I mean? So you're probably I'm always involved with something being a collective.
right.
Some
Right.
being a collective. I think we get further when it's a collective, but yeah, sometimes you got to go out on your own and do certain shit.
Right. Absolutely, Lamont. Well, man, I'm gonna wrap it up. It was a blessing having you on here for 3 hours.
Likewise, man.
For 3 hours, all the viewers, there's people been coming in and out, in and out, in and out. So, shout out to them, for them sitting down and listening to your beautiful story and who you are as a person, your experiences in prison and after prison. I'm gonna have you on again for sure. We're gonna touch on different things. I'm gonna get with you after this. I'm gonna send you a text. But safe travels on Friday, brother.
Well, I appreciate that,
Out in
man.
LA, just be safe. You already know how it is. But that flight, make sure you're safe. Make sure everything's all good to go.
Indeed.
Because this is a far travel for sure. And then I'm gonna try to make. I'll probably try to make it down. We'll see. We'll see the what I got going on. But I feel like that'd be kind of cool to peep it a little bit.
Oh yeah. It's gonna
And
be some good people to talk with down there, man. Some good interviews, some future interviews too. But either way, I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna be going live from there, man. So
on your Facebook.
yeah, on my Facebook, I'm
Okay.
gonna go live from there. I'm gonna be able to show everything and get it cracking on there, man.
Cool. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, Lamont, the one and only, baby. Let's get it. But I appreciate you. I'm gonna get with you right after this.
All right, bro.
Appreciate
Peace.
you, brother. Have a good one.
Likewise. Peace.